Mason, do you love clothes but hate clothes that you hate?
Look, yes.
Okay, good. That's an honest answer. I appreciate it.
Well, you trapped me, so there's really no way I could get out of that. How do you like things are good and hate things that are bad? Yes. If it were the opposite, what kind of a man would I be? I'd be a monster.
That's true, you would. Well, I know you love Mack Weldon.
I do,
for their smart design, for their premium fabrics, and their simple shopping.
All those things.
Just get onto a website, click a thing that you want.
Get it on your phone. You bloody get it on your phone.
It's very mobile friendly. It might be an underwear, a socks, a shirt, whatever. They look good, perform well. They're good for going out, working out, going on dates, just bloody everyday life.
A hoodie.
A tee, a classic tee, a V-neck, all of those things. They're also, if you're not happy with your first pair, say you buy a pair of jocks and you're like, I don't like these jocks. I've worn them.
They're too good.
Yeah, exactly.
They make me feel sad for all the other underwear in my drawer. They're too good.
Exactly. They're making everything else feel bad. Then they'll refund you and you can keep them.
Keep them.
So that's a pretty sweet deal. So if you go to mackweldon.com and use the promo code PLANET, you get 20% off your purchase.
It's a good deal. I don't get out of bed for anything less than 20% off.
You've said that already.
Yeah, I know, right? 20% off's real good.
We've discussed how that
10% off.
That makes your life very difficult for most purchases. You're always in bed just looking for those deals.
That's right.
Not this time,
Clipping coupons in bed.
It. So that's mackweldon.com.
Just jump into bed. I'm covered in paper cuts because of all my coupon clipping.
That's it. 20% off promo code PLANET. And it's just good t-shirts and
good stuff,
just clothes in general. And it's antimicrobial. Did I mention that?
No, you didn't, but then you did.
Minimal.
Flawless.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. It's because they eliminate odor. It's not important, but it is important. But what's more important is just
be yourself.
Be nice.
Yeah.
To your friends.
Just be yourself. Be your stinky self and put on the antimicrobial stuff and just be real
Be a
fresh.
less stinky version of yourself.
But still be real.
That's right. All right, on with the show.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, official podcast of comicbookmovie.com, where we talk movies, comics, TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me, as always, is my co-host, Nick Mason.
We're back, baby.
You better believe it.
I mean, we were back last week, but we're double back now.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week, potentially. Most likely, I'd imagine.
I hope so. I got antsy that couple of weeks we had off.
Yeah, you seemed like when you came back, you were like, what happens if everybody doesn't know what it is?
Yeah, and I had things to say. I was ambivalent about so many things. I had to tell everybody that I'm like, this could be fine, I suppose. Yeah. I have to tell everybody.
It needs to go out to as many people as it can.
Yeah.
I actually have old man news, if you don't mind. Not old man Logan news.
Your old man.
No,
Your
he's
dad.
fine. He's loving
okay.
life, mate.
Great.
But remember that old man? It's in the best of episode, if anybody listened to that. The slowest old man in the world.
Shuffling down your street, yeah.
I went outside today to take my bins out, as I do. It's a classic move.
Sunday, it's bin night.
That's exactly it. Anyway, so he's there. He's got his old man clothes. He's got his cane.
Cardigan?
No, because it's hot. It's hot here, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Might have been a polo.
Old people can't tell, though. They're always
That's
in a
true,
cardigan.
they don't know.
Maybe he's in a summer cardigan.
I didn't appreciate how trim this man was until seeing him. Like, he's 90 if he's a day.
Yeah.
But he's shuffling up there, and I'm like, look at this guy go. So he looks.
He's got the abs. He's got the V.
The V, yeah.
He's got the V at his crotch.
So he looked exactly the same in every way except backwards hat. He had a backwards hat on.
Nice.
I don't know why,
Wow.
but I appreciate it.
World's
yeah.
raddest grandpa,
Exactly.
if you ask me.
It reminded me from, remember that ad from The Simpsons where all the old people are drinking soda or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, extreme. It was like that. It was the best thing I've ever seen. Anyway, he's still
incredible.
outside, so we could...
The best old man thing I've ever seen is I was going past a shopping mall one time and I see like this Harley Davidson pull up to the curb. It's like this mint Harley Davidson with this incredible roar, and like this dude gets off and he's in the jeans and the boots and the leather jacket.
Just black and chrome, mate.
And he just takes the helmet off and he's like one of those silver fox old guys. He's like, 70 or whatever, but he's like trim and he's on a bike and he's like maintained his cool, and he just steps off the curve and... Like, as he puts his foot down, like, he gets bumped by, like, a guy in, like, the same age, but, like, in a full beige outfit and just pushing a little cart, And he's,
that sounds like a beef. That sounds like there was some beef there, yeah.
They started out both as just as cool young men, and they went in different directions, yeah.
Yeah, and one went Peter Fonda and the other one went...
Jane Fonda.
I was going to say Jane Fonda, but isn't she still cool?
I bet she is, yeah.
Yeah, I bet she is. Yeah, good on her. Speaking of old, but not too old, and it sucks that he's dead because he was only 61.
Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the great character actor.
I didn't know he was the cousin of George Clooney. I found out that when he passed.
Yeah.
61.
Yep.
Throat cancer. That sucks, man.
No
People
good.
probably most know him for RoboCop.
He was Bob Morton in
He's
RoboCop,
all
the
like-
creator of RoboCop.
Yeah, exactly. He's all like, I'm all about the business or whatever.
He was also the chief examiner in Crossing Jordan, which is one of my favourite TV shows.
I've seen very little Crossing
It's real
Jordan.
good. It's real good. It's
Should I
got
watch
Catherine Hahn in it.
Okay.
In a dramatic role.
Catherine Hahn. Who's that?
She's in a lot of the Will Ferrell movies. She's a redhead.
Yeah.
She's real aggressive in them. She's in... what's that one about them selling
That
cars?
sounds like a typical redhead, if that's my opinion.
Yeah,
Mason.
spicy.
So spicy.
You know the one? You know that one where they're all selling cars? You know that one?
Talladega Nights?
The Goods? Remember The Goods?
I haven't seen The Goods.
It's got
Miguel Ferrer?
no, it's got the guy from Entourage.
The Piven?
Yes, Piven. Piven's in it.
Money Talks?
No,
Okay.
I'll look it up.
Great. Anyway, sucks he's dead, man.
I
That's
know,
way
right?
too
Yeah.
young. 61 sucks.
Yeah.
Way to go 2017, because people were like, 2016 killed too many celebrities. Not, well, I mean, it didn't. The year itself didn't. It's just they happened to
You don't
fall
know that.
within the... Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
I mean, we kind of assumed that 2016 that no one was going to die from this point forward.
That's true,
But,
yeah.
Yeah, we were proven
Everyone's
wrong.
alive, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Well, Mason, in news, while you're looking up Catherine Hahn, James Cameron will be getting
She was
the
in
right...
Bad Moms. She was one of the Bad Moms.
Oh, she's great. I love her. We talked
Yeah.
about her the other week. She's in Transparent as well.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a rabbi in that. Oh, she's really good.
She's alive.
Thank God.
Yeah.
James Cameron's getting the rights back to Terminator in 2019. And everyone was just like, who cares? It's done. He's not going to make a Terminator
He
film.
loved that last one.
We liked the first 15 minutes.
Right, yeah.
Because there is that video of him going, I love Terminator Genesis. What a movie. But the things that he loves about it is like, it's just like the movie I made. And I feel like he didn't see the rest of it. Maybe he did. Who's to say? Not me. But anyway, he's going to be producing, allegedly, a Terminator reboot with Tim Miller, director of Deadpool, directing.
They're all reboots now.
They are. Every one of them sits independently of the other. Even 1 and 2, they don't line up exactly.
We're going to be talking about Terminator 1 and 2 later. Very
Are we?
specifically.
Okay. Oh, yes,
in,
we are.
In
we
our
are.
review of Triple X.
That's true, yeah.
If you love nitpicking out there, if you
I do love nitpicking.
yeah.
What do you think of that, though? The Terminator coming back under the guidance of James Cameron with the direction of Tim Miller.
Could be good.
It actually could be. But then again, James Cameron has not directed a movie I'd liked since 1997. But then again, it's only been one movie since then. And Avatar's not terrible. It's just not something that I particularly enjoyed.
And look, Tim Miller did well with this kind of
The avant-garde?
no.
It's not the word,
I've
is
lost
it?
all my I've lost all my words once again. It's the out of sync storytelling. You
Yes, that's true. You
know?
know
That
what?
word that it is.
That's right. Unconventional storytelling,
Sure, let's just go with that.
left of center narrative.
No.
All these things I'm saying are correct. But you know what I want to see? I don't want to see another Terminator either set in the 80s or whatever and just whatever year it is now. You could make a pirate Terminator movie.
Yeah.
You could take it back to the 20s. You could go 1,000 years in the future. You can go literally any point in time.
Yes.
Why not do that? Because what I liked about Terminator Genesis, one of the few things that I liked, is they go back to like the 50s or 60s briefly for like a second.
Do you mean the bit with Sarah Connor?
With Sarah Connor
Well,
when
that was
she's
like
a kid.
I think that was like the 70s.
Whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can literally take it to any time period. And if you're gonna reboot it, even though they all kind of sit independently of each other, you're not kind of constrained. Even if it was a sequel, you're not constrained
Yep.
by anything. You can do anything. Don't try and remake Terminator 2. Don't go, oh, what's a new and cool way we can make a Terminator? Because
Right,
everything
exactly.
since the liquid metal Terminator
been bad.
has been like whatever. So that's the way I see
That
it.
being said, you kind of have to tread lightly depending on what
Me
period
specifically?
You go. Yeah, you specifically.
Okay.
Pull your bloody head in, mate.
I'm sorry.
But you have to sort of tread lightly into the filmmakers.
Yeah.
I'm not ruling you out becoming a filmmaker at some point
You
before
probably
this comes
should,
out.
but
yeah,
anyway,
okay.
go on.
But I feel you have to tread lightly. Like, the further back you go, the more unlikely it becomes that anyone could defeat a Terminator.
Oh, okay.
in single combat.
But I think it makes it more interesting. Like,
Yeah.
say you have to get a Terminator to walk in front of a cannon with a wick,
It's
and you've
true,
got to
yeah.
light it up, and even
Exactly.
then you're not going to kill it,
yeah,
are you?
Yeah, you have to convince a Terminator to walk the plank.
That's right, exactly.
Hmm.
And even he's going to hit the bottom of the ocean. You look at your sundial and you go, okay, we got 8 months before
Yeah,
he walks his
that's
way out of the ocean.
Yep.
You know? Mm-hmm. But I think there's so much you can do with that time period.
That's
and
true.
when you're constrained by the weaponry. And that's what's great about the first Terminator. It's pretty much, it's a slasher movie.
Yeah, right.
That's all it is. I mean, there are those sci-fi elements and all that.
Yeah.
But the idea that, no, this is not the era where you can stop something like this.
Yes.
Like the 90s, you can drop him into a
Vat of
skateboard
liquid metal.
ramp.
Yeah, exactly. You can drop them into that vat of hypercolor material.
That's
however
right.
they built the hypercolor t-shirts. But yeah, I guess you're right. And in Terminator Genesis, they could kill a T-800 Terminator with one bullet.
Yeah.
And kill a T-1000 by sticking it under an acid
Yeah.
shower or whatever. I guess, like, imagine a Terminator movie set in World War One, where
Exactly.
it's running rampant through a trench.
Yeah.
And and you go, okay, well, there's no easy way out of this. There's no truck of liquid metal coming to save this.
No, that's right.
How are they going to get? Yeah, and I guess
Biplanes.
so many biplanes.
Mustard gas. That wouldn't work, would it? At all. Maybe
No.
maybe his eyes would go a bit red.
Yeah.
That's about it. But they are red, aren't they? Because he's a Terminator.
Yes.
Anyway, what a great segment of the show.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to move on to the next one.
Let's think of other eras that they definitely won't set the next Terminator in and will disappoint us.
No, I feel like
Caveman Terminator.
Oh man, pointless. Because would he just kill everybody?
Yeah, he'd
Because
ruin
there'd be
everything.
like 7 cavemen.
Yeah.
And they're all descendants of Sarah Connor.
And also, they would also have to. The further back you go, the more risk that if you kill literally anyone, you prevent
yourself
being built. Yeah. Mhm.
Unless that every time you send a Terminator back, it's a different timeline.
Yeah.
And you're in a... Maybe they'll fix all that.
Yeah.
They definitely won't.
What if it opens on, like, the Resistance and they're looking at some detailed report and they're like, hey, it turns out if we send somebody back in time, it doesn't really matter what happens. Just send 50 people back. The Terminator said they're going to send 50 Terminators back. It's going to be great.
It'll be funny, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine all the funny sunglasses the Terminator could wear back in the day.
Monocles?
Monocles, 2 monocles.
That's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's monocles and bifocals and those opera glasses that you,
Yeah, that's
that you
right.
put up to your face.
Imagine how shocked a Terminator would have to be for its monocle to pop out.
Okay, one more question.
Yes.
These are gonna, if it's a reboot, potentially it's Arnie free.
Yeah, it's true.
Is,
The Rock.
yeah, obviously, that's the obvious choice. But can a Terminator work Arnie free? Who do you get?
Yeah, okay, right.
You know what I mean? Do you go super muscular? Or do you go in a different direction? Because the original idea for the Terminator, they were looking for like a Lance Hendrickson,
Yep.
where he can kind of infiltrate society
Yeah,
and
okay.
just walk among us. But then they went, no, we'll go with this giant tank of a man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like
I think you should go, like, in terms of physique,
Yeah.
maybe like a Ben Affleck in Batman Superman.
Okay.
Like, he's broad.
yeah.
And he's kind of...
He's broad and he's always smoking on the set of his movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's always a bit sad.
He's always a bit sad, yeah.
Misses his kids,
Yeah,
probably.
he probably does.
Yeah. But like a barrel, kind of a barrel guy. Bit of a barrel, you know. Yeah, maybe that kind of... You know, he doesn't have to be 7 feet tall.
No.
But the idea that he's still stocky and solid and you can hit him with 100 rounds of
Right,
machine
yeah.
gun ammunition and he just stands there.
You say barrel, I'd like him to go back to like ye old England time, and the first person he comes across is the town idiot who's wearing the barrel,
Barrel.
so he takes that barrel.
Yep.
Give me your barrel! Now I fit in.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Fantastic Four news, not really though.
Okay,
Tim
great.
Story, director of the Fantastic Four movies, the 2 of the 4 that people hate.
The 2 good ones, I guess?
Yeah, I guess they are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, depending on how much... Yeah, okay, sure. I'll go
The
with that.
Tim Story, the director of the 2 best Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah, he's going to be directing the Shaft reboot.
Huh.
Perfect choice.
Yeah.
No, not really. So the Shaft, I want to say 2000 with
Something
Samuel
like
L.
that.
Jackson.
It
That's a sequel, isn't it?
It was post-American Psycho.
Oh, that was okay.
Because Christian Bale was in it, basically doing the same character.
Doing it, but it's just like a racist psycho.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And who else was in that? The dude who's in the recent Bond movies. He's in Westworld. He was like the crazy gangster.
Oh.
What's his bloody name?
Jeffrey Wright?
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm fairly certain.
Huh.
I might be wrong. I have not seen that movie since it came out.
But yeah, it is a sequel.
Yes,
Because he's
he
the
meets
original
his
Shaft
uncle.
nephew, yeah.
Even though I think they're the same age.
Yeah, maybe.
They're not that dissimilar though,
Uh-huh.
are they? So I don't know how you reboot this. Like, what is it? I guess it's probably a good time to kind of bring it back for the modern era.
Yeah.
To be like, but who do you get? Who do you shaft it up with? Do you get an Idris Elba?
The Rock.
Yeah, you could get The Rock. What about who's the dude? What's his bloody name? Have you
Kevin
seen The
Hart.
Night Of? Kevin Hart, perfect. Have you seen The Night Of?
No.
Okay, can't remember his bloody name. He's in The Wire. Can't remember. He's in Community. He's a guy who comes out of prison. And he's talking about Lego and how nobody remembers how Lego used to be.
Huh.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyway, they're rebooting Shaft.
Right, okay.
Bloody good on him, mate. I'm gonna find out that guy's name, and then I'll tell you.
Okay.
Oh, Michael K. Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great. Have you seen The Night Of?
No.
Bloody get
I think
into
you've
it.
recommended it repeatedly.
I certainly have, and I would never not stop repeating it.
And look,
ever.
if you can't get him, get John Turturro, who's also in The Night Of.
Sure. It's a great cast. You could literally pick anybody from it.
Wait, Michael K. Williams? Is that who you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's him, yeah.
Yeah, Omar. All
That's
right.
good. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've never seen. Look, I haven't seen The Wire, all right? You've exposed a part of myself which I'm not proud of. Yeah. What's next? We've got a whole lot of DC news. I hope you don't mind getting ready for that, Mason.
I love DC
get
news.
Get amped. Get hyped.
I'm ready to be ambivalent.
Wow. You did the motorcycle revving motion.
Yeah. It's in my future, I hope. Motorcycle or a little shopping cart and a lot of beige. I'm not sure.
As I'm walking past you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Shazam and Black Adam are now going to be two independent movies happening at the same time. The Rock is going to be in both, but he's going to be in a Black Adam solo movie. So he's going to be getting his own thing.
Huh.
Leading up to whatever comes after
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, he's The Rock. You got to give him a solo
I guess you do.
movie, don't you?
I guess maybe they're going to paint him more as like a tragic figure or like a...
Sounds like a remake of The Scorpion King, if you ask me, Mason.
yeah.
A man from the past.
Yep.
Drawn into a web of
Scorpions.
scorpions and magic. Too many scorpions. I'm muscular, but I don't like scorpions. Sounds fine, I guess. I feel like The Rock would be... I think you'd probably give him a better character, if I'm honest.
This is a weird test of a character that's really had no media exposure ever.
Like, Shazam isn't super well known. He's
No.
not even Shazam. He was Captain Marvel.
Yeah, right? Uh-huh.
And you're taking the villain of Shazam, who's sort of an anti-hero, but mostly been
Giving
a
him
villain.
a solo... Yeah, 2 movies. This is bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, people know Shazam
Yeah.
as a movie that they think exists
Yes.
from the past about a rapping genie that had Sinbad in it.
Isn't that Kazam?
It's
but people,
Kazam.
But people think of it as Shazam.
Are you aware
yeah.
of the Mandela effect? Have you heard
Is
about
that the
this
thing
recently?
where things are slightly different than what you remember them?
Yes, it's basically...
People think that the guy from Jingle All the Way is in Kazam, is that right?
Yes, and they think it's called Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's basically a fancy name for collective misremembering of things.
Yes.
So like if you remember
Or time travel.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of people attribute it to we all got shunted into a different reality,
I
which
wish,
is
mate.
exactly
Politics, am I right?
Yeah. Except the only difference is in this reality.
It's like minor things. It's like the
Yeah.
Berenstain Bears.
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember when I saw as an adult, I saw the cover of a Berenstain Bears book, and I'm like, oh, it must have been the Berenstain Bears in Australia, like a
Oh,
Hungry
okay,
Jack's
right.
Burger King situation.
Yeah.
And then they switched it out.
Sure, yeah.
But it's always been the
Hungry
Berenstain
Jack's,
Bears.
what?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But it's just there are more Steins there's more people called Stein in the world than Stain.
Stein, yeah,
so your
absolutely.
brain just goes, it must be Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Or whichever one it is.
it's Berenstain. It's Berenstain
It definitely
Bears.
is?
It's
Okay,
definitely
good.
the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah,
what are we
yeah.
talking about?
Shazam.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you're
yeah,
saying that...
What I'm saying is nobody knows who Shazam is. He was in the Justice League cartoon once.
I should point
think.
out, every time we say something like that, we get a tweet that's like, oh, I've always been a fan. We know people who listen to this know,
Yes.
but we're talking about the general
We're
populace.
a special breed of people. we're all a special breed of charismatic geniuses. We're aware of that. We know.
That's it.
God, we've all got great hair out
You're
there.
all the
of
same
us.
snowflake.
All of us. We're all the best. All us weekly wackadadoos. We know we are. But the people out there,
Yeah.
the scum out there, that I call regular people. They don't know who Shazam. They don't know Captain Marvel.
No, definitely
they
not.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they renamed Captain Marvel Shazam a few years prior, getting ready for this movie, just to gear up. Because if they went, the movie's coming out, we're changing the name, people would flip. But they got ready. They're like, no, this has been a thing for a while now.
What do you think's going to do better, Marvel's Captain Marvel or this Shazam flick?
Well, one of them has The Rock, so you can't. But one's got Brie Larson.
One has the word Shazam in it,
That's
which is very exciting.
True, yeah.
They've never actually road tested how exciting the word Shazam is.
No.
On the
I mean, it's
a movie
in the
poster.
public consciousness, obviously, for that movie that people remember that wasn't a real movie, but yeah.
It also used to be like Beetle Bailey's catchphrase or something.
Which one's he?
Like he was like a army private? Maybe it's not Beetle Bailey.
Was it from like Dad's Army or something?
No, like it was a comic strip called Beetle Bailey.
I'm not familiar with
He was a lazy army private in the army.
Typical of the government.
That's right.
Isn't it? It's the age we live in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, Mason, I've got more DC news. I hope
Okay,
you're
great.
ready. Gear
anyway,
up. Rev that imaginary
what I'm
motorcycle.
saying is this ain't gonna work.
I think it absolutely could. It's The Rock, man. He's as he named himself, he's franchise Viagra.
What if the Black Adam movie really like made $1 billion and then Shazam did nothing? Do they just bump off Captain Marvel and replace him?
No, they couldn't. They team him up, if anything.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know how they're going to cast Captain Marvel. Who do you get? Because you need a boyish man
Zac
who's
Efron.
7 feet tall.
Have we talked about Zac Efron?
We always talk about Zac Efron.
Yeah, I know, right?
But Shazam...
Once Baywatch makes $1 billion, as I maintain it will...
But you talk about Zac Efron like he's this up-and-coming actor. People
been around
know
for
who
years.
Zac Efron is.
That's what I'm talking about. They like him.
Yeah.
They were ambivalent for a while.
So you don't think they need to be the same size?
No, I think you can fix it in post.
You remember that future... What I
do it Lord of the Rings style.
Sure. You know that future Justice League...
By that I mean Zac Efron will stand on a box.
I knew what you meant.
He'll stand on a box of Lord of the Rings DVDs. That's what I meant.
Or The Hobbit. They're worthless. They're
Yeah,
cheaper, aren't they?
That's true.
But what was I going to say? I can't even remember. It's not important.
Size issues.
Size issues, certainly. I don't know. Yeah, so the future Justice League, Kingdom Come. This is unrelated. I like the element of that story where Lex Luthor has Shazam. It's Captain Marvel. Let's just call him Shazam for the sake of this amazing story I'm telling.
Yes.
And he's got him on side, but it turns out it's not Shazam. It's just grown up
Billy Batson.
I like that
That is
element
good.
a lot. That's very cool. Anyway, they can't use that because it doesn't make any sense.
I love that at the time, but then it turned out that storyline is basically what happens in Miracle Man in the 80s, which is one of my favourite storylines. It's basically the same thing happens.
I still haven't read Miracle
real
Man.
good.
It's one of your faves, man.
I won't spoil. Well, it's not finished. That's the thing.
Oh.
And I don't... So Miracle Man was in like legal... It was like in illegal limbo for decades, and then Marvel eventually just purchased it.
It was in the double L's. I didn't know that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Marvel eventually purchased it, and so they've re-released some of it as trade paperbacks, which means at some point they're going to finish it.
Right.
But the last person to write on it was Neil Gaiman,
Yeah.
and I think they want to get him back to finish his story.
They should.
So it depends on how busy he is, I guess.
And
he just moved to Australia or something.
Did he?
So I'm going to find him and force him to finish it.
Good.
Yeah.
You should.
I'm going to.
All right then.
Anyway, it's pretty good. Also, I also loved The Sentry, and then it turned out his storyline is basically the same as Miracle Man's as well. So,
Too many people's stories are the same when you think
in a
about
way,
it,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. Do you have any more DC news?
Mate, I'm just gearing up.
Yeah, nice.
Rev that imaginary motorcycle, as I tried to say before. But
Hang on. Oh no, I'm pushing a little cart. It's all falling to pieces. It's a little brown vinyl shopping cart.
As your enthusiasm shrunk to the size of a vinyl shopping cart.
Yeah.
So this is a rumor that should not be taken seriously.
A rumor that shall not be taken seriously.
But what else do we do here? Ryan Reynolds, Tom Cruise, and Bradley Cooper are being eyed for Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps movie.
Sorry, say them all again.
Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Probably too old.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. I know we've talked about an older Hal Jordan.
Is he and Affleck the same age? They feel the same age.
No, he's older. He'd be mid-50s.
Okay.
Affleck's mid-40s. Ryan Reynolds, who had a crack.
Yeah.
And that movie's not his fault, but even then, I don't think he's a great Hal Jordan in hindsight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's more Flash, I guess, if I had to... Like
You mean
Wally
Flash in the
West.
sense of stylish?
Yeah, he's so Flash. Look at him
very
go.
Flash.
And Bradley Cooper, who was also up for the original Green Lantern. And another name that was also thrown up later was James Marsden. And I think that's my favourite for the Hal Jordan.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's of about that age. Because I like, we've talked about this before. It would be great in the DC universe if the Hal Jordan that turns up has been doing it for a while.
I'd like
He's
that
like,
too, yeah.
I left the Earth for 10 years doing space stuff, and I come back, and then what the fuck happened?
Right,
here?
exactly, yeah.
Kind of thing.
I would like
Where
that.
were all these cities?
I would like that, and he'd also be called in by the Guardians, and they're like, "What are you supposed to be defending this space sector? How did you let all these people in?
Yeah, I know, it's insane.
You let a Doomsday in.
Yeah,
How
a
did
big
that happen?"
one, like a real, like a sizable one. But who do you like out of those?
I like Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
He feels like he could bring like the experience.
yeah.
Like I've been doing this for a long time.
He can
kind of
bring the
thing.
experience and the pointed face.
James Marsden, good.
Look, let's be honest. James Marsden is probably not going to do another X-Men movie,
That's true.
but Ryan Reynolds will.
Yeah, that's
So
true. Yeah.
I can't imagine that in the Fox universe that. Also, he got real burnt on that. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't happy with it, and Deadpool's doing so well at the moment. I don't see why he would go
Come
back
back
to it. Yeah,
James Marsden feels a bit too youthful looking still.
he's like he'd be mid-40s.
I know, right?
Or maybe early
and he's got a lot of
40s.
heat from Westworld, and there's only so many times he can be riddled with bullets in that show.
That's true.
Actually, that is not true. He can be riddled with bullets an unlimited number of times.
Sure.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I think it seems. Look, if this is true, it seems like they're casting a little bit older, so they
Yeah.
can bring in some younger members. Maybe your Guy Gardner and your Jon
Yeah.
Stewart. So, because I don't think you can be like, all three of you are the new Green Lantern.
Right.
One of them at least has to be experienced.
Correct, yeah.
You know, so that's the way I
And
see it.
I think Affleck and Cooper would work well together.
Yeah.
In terms of they've both got a lot of. If we're going with Green Lantern's been out there for a long time, they both have a lot of experience in different ways.
Right,
Like
yeah.
Batman's been on the streets for 20 years.
Yeah.
And Green Lantern's been out in space for 20 years, and they're going to get in, and their methods are going to differ, and
Because one can do anything.
one can do anything, and it's all green boxing gloves. He just comes down to the streets. He's like, Batman, why don't you just knock out all your villains with big green boxing gloves?
He's out of touch, man.
How did you let the Joker kill Robin, mercilessly kill him on the streets, when you could have just hit the Joker with a big green boxing glove from the other side of the planet? What were you thinking? Anyway, we're on the same team now. Do
Yeah, that's exactly it.
you have any more DC news?
I do actually. There's
Ooh.
one more piece of DC news.
ready.
There's a leaked image of the black Superman suit that may or may not be real. It's just Henry Cavill in a black Superman suit. Can you
But
imagine
isn't it from like
No, it's
shoulders
about,
up?
It's a bit lower than that.
Okay,
maybe,
right.
But it could be. Look, it's the kind of thing where even if it's not real, it's probably what it's going to look like. So
right,
it doesn't
yeah.
really.
Yeah, that's
it doesn't
true.
really matter in any way. Great. I forgot to ask you this, Mason, because as you know, I'm half cut.
That means drunk.
Yes.
I don't know what it means in America, but James, when I got here, James was like, "I'm real sauced." He's like, "I hope these show notes make sense because I'm real sauced." So
I've been at a barbecue, man.
Yeah, all
I've
right.
been drinking margaritas in the sun. Mm-hmm. Get ready for Power Rangers news, though, Mason. Did you watch the trailer for Saban's Power Rangers?
I did watch the trailer for Saban's Power Rangers.
Are you happy with Saban's Power Rangers? The trailer.
I enjoyed the trailer for Saban's Power Rangers. Go Saban's Power Rangers, in my opinion. Look, I think Saban's Power Rangers is going to have an all CGI finale that is going to be very disappointing.
Yeah.
But some of it looks pretty fun.
I don't argue with that. It looks elements of Chronicle.
Yep.
There's the Man of Steel pin art.
Oh, as Zordon, and
Yes.
Bryan Cranston as Zordon.
I feel like this is just borrowed elements from things that people sort of
Yep.
enjoy or have been in the public consciousness.
Yep. The new suits are sort of Iron Man and
Yeah,
sort of something else,
yeah.
sort of shapeshifty.
What do you think of the new suits?
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really love the original suits.
Neither do I.
So, it is what it is.
When I think of like your combiner mech of Voltron kind of things, like
Yeah.
your Japanese and your Chinese and your
Like your
Korean.
Voltrons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
I like a more mechanized kind of looking suit as
Yeah.
opposed to like when you watch those TV series from the 80s and the 90s, you either get the weird spandexy suit
It's
like the
spandex and a bike helmet.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
either
it
get
is.
that or you get the kind of segmented mech suit stuff, which we're only really seeing now in like Justice League and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
I much prefer that.
I completely agree.
Like your Kamen
Until
Rider.
it goes out of fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Then
Yeah.
I'll hate it. Bring back the spandex. That's what I think. Bring back the spandex and the stack hats. Am I right?
Stack hats.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should Google stack hats. Was there a person in Australia from 20 years ago who didn't have a stack hat? Unlikely.
They're probably dead
Yeah, I'd imagine
because they would have fallen off their bike without a stack hat on.
By the way,
How do you survive a stack, mate, without a stack hat?
Should we? A stack is a fall. We should.
Yeah.
People not know. People
don't
know
know.
that. I don't know whether that's the case. I thought so we saw the Zords.
Yeah,
there
we
was
did.
some Zords soaring.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little kind of like not great.
That's
a
what I'm
bit-
talking
A bit
about.
fuzzy. Oh, I thought you were talking about the suits.
No, I like those.
Oh,
But what I'm
okay.
saying is
Oh, right,
I think the final
apologise.
battle is going to be this kind of
Yeah.
weightless kind of CGI final battle.
Right,
And I think
okay.
they're going to be like, well, kids won't care, but I care.
You
The people here, the charismatic geniuses that host and listen to this show,
Yeah,
are
all
going to
the
hate
snowflakes,
that.
yeah.
All the snowflakes. We're going to hate this. We're going to hate it. But the normies,
Yeah.
they're going to be all fine with it. But I think it's going to look weird and weightless. Maybe
Yeah.
they're not finished yet, but I don't know.
Yeah, but see, I used to think that, and it's probably true. But a lot of the times when you see something and people say, "Well, it's not the final product," and then you see the final product, and you're like, "Well, that's about the same." You're like,
Right,
"It's-
yeah.
it's about like as good as that." Yeah. Anyway, Logan trailer.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I thought you would have because
Yeah.
you're always on the net, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're on the line.
Speaking of Logan trailers, what about the Legion trailer? Did you watch that?
No, I didn't. I've heard it's the writers of the new Fargo series, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited.
Me too.
It's not set in the X-Men universe,
Yeah, right.
but also this one, Logan, is also not set in the X-Men universe.
Oh, because there are X-Men comic books in the trailer.
It's not only that. Well, do you want to talk about Legion just quickly?
I didn't really watch it.
Me neither,
Yeah, let's
at
skip it.
all.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I saw it. It was in a Facebook pop-up or something, I think, and I went, "Oh, that looks interesting. I'll get back to that when I have more time." I didn't have any more time.
Yeah,
I
look-
did have more time, but I used it to sleep.
that's a wise decision.
Thank you.
No one's going to fault you on that. So basically, allegedly, Hugh Jackman came out and said, this movie is not set in the timeline of any of the other X-Men films.
Yes.
And you know what I think's happened?
Yes.
And maybe I'm wrong. The word was that this movie, the last time the first trailer came out and they said, they didn't say, the word was 2024,
Yes.
which sets it a year after the epilogue of Days of Future Past.
Holographic clocks for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. As many as you want. Snatch them up at a flea market.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I think now James Mangold has come out and said, oh no, it's 2029, which is still not a very long time for all this kind of shit to happen.
But imagine what kind of holographic alarm clocks they're going to be.
But it's also maybe there was an apocalypse in between.
But not the apocalypse.
No, because that happened in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
The snowflakes know that. But they also said, Hugh Jackman said that this movie is not set in any of the X-Men time periods ever.
Huh.
But also, the first 30 or 40 minutes of this movie has been shown, and there's a reference to Hugh Jackman saving
the actor
world,
Hugh Jackman.
The actor Hugh Jackman just getting out there and swinging on that thing that he nearly killed Oprah or whatever.
Yeah. Just screaming about how the musical is back. The musical's not back, Hugh Jackman.
La La
we
Land.
love you. But I'm faulting you there.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah, good point. All right,
Yeah.
maybe he was several years too early. All right,
was,
all right,
yeah, he's
Hugh.
ahead of his time.
I guess the musical is back.
Yeah, but there's apparently reference to the time that he saved the world at the Statue of Liberty when Rogue was strapped
X-Men
to it
1,
in
okay.
X-Men 1. But even if there is a reference to that, that means that this movie might be set in the original X-Men timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the case, that should be the Sentinel's future. But if it's not set, if it's set in the rebooted timeline
Yes.
with Apocalypse, then that doesn't make any sense either because they're saying that it's set in no timeline. So there's some elements from the other X-Men movies
Yeah.
that exist in this brand new timeline, which is basically a way of saying, fuck it, who
Yeah,
cares?
don't
They're
think-
all set in a
Yeah.
different... What did you say? If they're... The only one that matters is the last one.
The only one that makes the current movie only makes sense if you only remember the original, the previous one as canon. If
Yeah.
you go back one more, it doesn't make any sense because you're like, but what happened? Wasn't that guy dead, or wasn't that guy didn't Professor X literally explode?
Yeah,
When did
wasn't
that-
Bolivar Trask black? Yes, he was. That happened.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think. So Hugh Jackman said this in an interview,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
What he's saying there is, and I'm sure he's going to say it more. What he's basically saying is, do not think too hard about
No,
this.
that's exactly
Do not
what
think
it
about
is.
any of the previous ones because you will be confused and hate this.
I'm sure they made this as like in mind to be a sequel to whatever the last one was.
Yeah.
But I think they've just gone, you know what, let's just tell them it's whatever. Because people don't actually care
Yeah.
about this I mean, actually, that's not true. A lot of people care quite deeply.
This is sort of becoming, I think, maybe like the Resident Evil franchise,
Right?
In the sense that
all good.
It doesn't.
All
It
gold.
doesn't. Yes, it doesn't.
Kick a dog in the head.
Maybe the dog will kick you. But like, you remember some stuff from previously. Like
Yeah.
this is this new movie. It's like, hey, remember when we saved the world on the Statue of Liberty? That's sort of in here.
Yeah.
Hey, remember when another thing that happened in public? What else happened? Remember those Sentinels?
That's sort of in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the Marvel Universe in a sense.
It absolutely
There
is.
are a lot of things that happen. There are massive game-changing situations, and then they will just wipe that away and just go, you know what, it's fine.
Well, you know what else is weird about this trailer?
Yes.
In this universe, there exists X-Men comics.
Comics, yeah.
Based on the X-Men from the X-Men movie universe, but those comics don't line up with the actual our universe. Why am I saying our universe? The place where we all live.
Yes.
They don't line up. So
Right.
these are brand new comics
Okay.
that they made specifically for this movie.
Right. Well, okay, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I
Well, it's a movie universe, isn't it?
Also, I think this, you know what? That's actually quite clever because you can just say, hey, remember all the other X-Men movies? Maybe some of it happened, maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
I would imagine if they release these comics, and they might actually as a tie-in.
I'd imagine they might. Yeah.
They might be sort of reworkings of all the previous X-Men movies.
What does he say? Like a quarter of it happened.
Yeah, a
in
quarter
the
of it
movie,
happened, and
yeah.
it didn't happen the way everyone says it did.
I
or
wasn't
something
wearing
like
a weird costume.
that. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's it. I think maybe this could be it. This could be the X-Men movies we have seen before are what people think happened, what people thought happened in the Logan universe.
Right.
So like,
I think that's how people will explain it after the movie came
Yeah,
out.
right.
But I don't think that will be the explanation in the actual movie. I
Okay.
don't even think they're going to bother.
No, I don't think they will.
It's just
either.
like, because the way they also framed it was, this is a Logan or a version of Wolverine where if you happen to happen upon the border where he lives, you might see this guy in real life.
Right, yeah.
That's the way they're looking at it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love it.
X-23 though.
Yeah,
A girl
a
Wolverine.
lot of screen time. Looking good.
Girlverine, I think she's called from the comics. Is that
Girlverine,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wolverine Lass, she's called.
Okay, right. So apparently the idea behind that is she's not going to carry on the mantle of Wolverine because Fox, the director said this, Fox weren't really aware that they had this character.
Okay, sure.
Because they have a lot of X-Men characters that they're just kind of like, let's just make Wolverine movies. Like that's all they seem to understand. So James Mangold said, we'll grab this character but not as a way to continue the franchise, just to serve this story, to put in this father-daughter element and also have the Professor X kind of, the grandfather, even though Professor X is younger than Wolverine. It's not about that, Mason.
yeah.
Timelines are irrelevant. But I thought she was really good in the trailer because like a lot of times...
Maybe he's not though. Maybe he's not older in this universe.
Maybe he's not. Yeah.
Maybe the story of him growing up as a little Lord Fauntleroy rich child in Canada isn't true anymore.
But that would make Logan as old as he is, like 50.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, okay. But isn't the idea that his healing factor makes him...
No, I don't care.
Yeah,
Stuff
I guess.
it.
It doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't matter
really?
anymore, yeah.
But his body's shot to shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene where you see he's pulling out his blade because it's like stuck.
Yeah,
So
right.
he's kind of like unjamming it, which is kind of cool, I guess. But also, how does that work in comic book physics? It's irrelevant, isn't it?
Yes, very much.
Timelines,
So. Timelines. yeah.
absolutely. But it's what it did. What this did really well, I thought, was there was action with a kid, but it didn't look like a stud person.
Yeah.
like who's clearly not a kid.
Yeah.
Kicking someone in the head.
Or a CGI kid.
yeah, which is
Yeah. There's a
way
point where
worse.
she flips over someone and stabs him.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like they just...
just get a little gymnast.
Yeah, or just drawn in a CGI
Yeah.
video game character and flipped her over.
Well, there is less money put into this movie than the last Wolverine movie because it's R-rated. So I'd imagine they're like, well, we just got to kind of all do this.
Yeah.
Which I think would absolutely
Throw
serve
the
story.
kid. Put the kid in the big rubber band and hurl the kid.
Yeah. It looks great.
It does look
Look,
great.
I'm not going to, I'd love it to be the greatest X-Men movie.
I'd love it to be less grim, but we're not getting that, so I'm
Well,
happy with it being...
Old Man Logan it's kind of a grim tale. But do you think he'll be back? Bearing in mind, I've got some news that might slightly be different to what you say.
Okay, then I'm going to say he will be back.
I have news that actually lines up with that.
Oh, that he will be back. Okay, great.
Okay, so there was a picture tweeted out by not by Pierce Brosnan. let's just say it was on the internet. I don't know who
Yeah.
tweeted it. Probably not Pierce Brosnan.
He probably doesn't have Twitter.
But he's in it.
Maybe it was the official Mamma Mia Twitter feed.
It may
They're
very
like,
well
finally
be.
some more news.
But it's it's not Patrick Stewart. It's Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Pierce Brosnan.
Palling about.
It's the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Is that
Yeah.
the saying? They're all doing a different thing,
Uh-huh.
like those monkeys or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And the idea is like, it's like, oh, we're not going to tell you because there's a secret. So the theory is
Yes.
Pierce Brosnan's Cable
Yep.
in the Deadpool sequel,
Uh-huh.
and Hugh Jackman will be back for another Wolverine movie.
Oh.
Now,
Not-
you said that he'd be back just then.
Yeah.
Do you
baby.
stand by that? Yeah.
Wait, so he said he would be back.
No. It was just kind of like, look at this.
Look at this.
And that's all there was to it.
Well, look, maybe it's a case of
Because
Wolverine.
they're not mates, are they? Like Hugh
No,
Jackman
exactly.
and Ryan Reynolds are, but
Yeah.
like Pierce Brosnan.
Maybe they're saying that in Deadpool 2 there will be Pierce Brosnan as Cable and Wolverine will make an appearance in that.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said there's going to be another Wolverine movie.
I think there might. I mean, maybe Deadpool 2 will end up being X-Force, but
Yeah, mhm.
or whatever. But no, I think that's the way the. I think I know Hugh Jackman said this is my last turn as Wolverine or whatever, but he's good mates with Ryan Reynolds, maybe, and they've been talking about it for years, doing another kind of team up. So
Yeah.
just do it, man.
I mean, maybe this also could be it could actually be the other way. It could be that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are going to be in that Remington Steele reboot that we've always been promised. They're going to take the roles of Stephanie Zimbalist and Doris Roberts.
Is that what you were googling?
That's what I was googling. Who was in Remington Steele?
well worth it.
I think so.
The TV show that cost Pierce Brosnan the role of
James Bond for
Timothy Dalton's version of James Bond.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Is it? Do you think he would have been better in that version?
No, I think Dalton was better overall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen those.
They're
Dalton
great.
ones. Are they?
They were the premiere, I think of action Bond, like the big action set pieces in a James Bond
Oh, but
film.
people kind of dismissed them at the time. Because they were like, this Bond isn't sexy enough.
But there's like a big oil rig car chase, and there's all sorts of. At one point,
is there swept back hair on the main Bond?
no, he's quite short hair.
That's crazy. I never
At
noticed.
one point, he and the love interest slide down a snowy peak in a cello case. You know, the big action set pieces.
I remember that. No, I
Yeah.
don't remember that at
real
all.
good.
Yeah. Where's the cello?
She's holding it.
Someone's going to have to get that home on a plane without a case, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Wrap it in bubble wrap.
Yeah, I guess you could.
you could do that.
Man.
Yeah.
Travel can be difficult, is
I
what
think
I'm
so.
saying. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mason,
Hello.
one more bit of X-Men news.
I'm ready.
Patrick Stewart is the poop emoji. He's the voice.
Oh, in the emoji movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That has been confirmed.
That's been confirmed.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate the man. Good on him.
Yet. You
Cash
don't hate
a-
him yet.
No, mate, cash a check.
That's true.
Cash a check on a garbage movie.
I reckon you could do one of those movies in like 30 minutes. Like you could
Yeah,
do
oh, absolutely.
a professional of the
You know
caliber
what's-
of Patrick Stewart.
One of
10
his
minutes
lines is going to
probably.
be, "This is undignified."
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's it. That's going to be the character.
And they just record that, like him in a conversation with his agent over the phone. They just record him saying that.
Have you been practicing your Patrick Stewart Professor X?
No, but I feel
impression?
I'm going to nail it anyway. Hang on.
Okay.
Logan.
Logan.
Oh, that's good too.
I've
yeah.
also been.
Yeah,
Thank
good.
you to the people who tweeted us their
Videos of their incredible impressions of Patrick Stewart.
Logan. It's fun to do.
It isn't
It's
it,
fun
though?
to say.
Yeah.
Okay, Mason. We have to
Thinking
talk.
of things that are fun or
Yeah.
not fun.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Triple X or Sherlock first? Bearing in mind, both of these will be linked in the bottom. If you want to skip over either, we're going to spoil
Time
both.
code 'em, baby.
Yeah, just pick one. Which one do you want to do
Let's do
first?
Triple X first.
Yeah. Okay.
What a multiple personality disorder of a film, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Can we just say full spoilers? I mean, what does it? It doesn't matter, right?
No, there's no spoil. There's no twist in this movie.
The
essentially,
twist it's in the trailer where he explodes out of the plane. It's in the trailer.
Yeah, that's true.
like the end thing that happens.
yeah, that's true. All right, well, spoilers for Sherlock, presumably at some point
when that comes.
When that
I'll
comes up.
time code it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we went and saw Triple X2: The Return of Xander Cage.
Yep.
My night didn't start off super well. We saw it on a Wednesday night, a preview screening,
Mm.
and my train broke down 51 minutes walk away from the screening. So I walked through the city in the heat.
Yeah, you did.
To get to Triple X 3, the return, the state of Xander Cage. Where's he at? Where is he? He was there, wasn't he? He was.
I googled before we got there. I googled XXX.
Yeah.
And the first result, it's like XXX, the return of the Xander. That's what people are searching for. It's not you don't mess with the Zohan, people. It's a different thing.
So yeah, so I
took the tram in relative comfort.
You were very comfortable. So we made it there. I mean, when we say preview screening, it was out like 4 hours after we saw it.
Yeah.
But
XXX Return of the Xander movie, XXX Return of the Xander Cage, XXX Return of the Xander trailer. They're the top 3 search results for that film in Australia.
But you know, sometimes Google remembers your searches. So
Oh,
maybe
no!
that was you.
It's me late night searching.
Okay, from the get-go, I was like, these credits are way too long.
It was weird,
It
right?
was like 5 minutes.
Because that's how they did credits back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Where you would, but now, like it was this quantum leap. At some point, there was some landmark movie that was like, you know what, we're gonna put the credits at the end.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, there you go.
It was Star Wars. Yeah.
Where they were like, and there would have been a huge uproar because everybody involved in the movie would have been like, no, you should leave we worked on this movie, you should leave the credits.
There was
at
a
the front.
Director Guild, Actors Guild thing that happened or whatever.
But this
or
movie has
Writers Guild, I
gone
don't know.
back where they've put the most of the credit. It was like a Sony Spider-Man movie.
It was exactly like that.
where the credits are way too long.
And it wasn't even like with, say, The Hateful Eight, which had long credits, where it was like, oh no, this is a homage, and look at all these landscapes and whatever. Because the entire movie's set in a cabin, so let's get some panoramic views.
Sure, yeah.
Let's get our money's worth. But this was just like, it felt like it was filmed in a box.
Yeah.
Like it was just like zooming around a box, and it was like, director, actor, producer, 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 writer,
We
writer,
get it.
writer,
This movie had a
writer.
lot of
Yeah.
producers and writers,
Yeah,
all right?
Vin Diesel's somewhere in there, and then at the end it's like director again. It's like, no, we saw that was
Yeah.
that happened
and
already.
there's what is also odd about this film, I think, is that there's no cold open. It's
No,
just credits.
it's
It's not an action sequence, then a whole bunch of credits. But bearing in mind the audience that this movie is directed towards, I would not be surprised if there's a lot of walkouts before the credits are finished.
This isn't what I paid up for.
I didn't pay to read a bunch of words.
I'm here to see XXX2, the return
of the Xander.
Xander's back,
Xander.
baby.
Yeah.
And so after we got through that, what do you remember from that movie?
Look, I can't had a good time with this movie.
It's exactly what you said it was in terms of this is fun and dumb. Oh, this is bad.
And dumb.
Oh, this is fun and dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
I felt there were like, I don't know if, because we always talk about reshoots in this movie. I don't know if
Yeah.
there were any reshoots or if they got the director to do half of the scenes and his work experience kid to do the other half of the
Yeah.
scenes. But there was, in this movie, almost one-to-one, it was an action sequence that was quite creative and well shot with good choreography and like pretty
sometimes.
solid effects. And then immediately afterwards, an action sequence that was terrible with laughable CGI and just the most boring setup imaginable. And then there'd be a scene where people are kind of having fun and it's good chemistry between two characters.
Yeah.
And like,
You talk about the grenade scene?
yeah, pretty,
that was okay, yeah.
creative and like pretty decent acting and what have you. And then then immediately afterwards there'd be a scene with the most cliched action dialogue and the worst like first pass jokes
Yeah.
and just cringeworthy, like embarrassing stuff.
Do you buy a Vin Diesel as this super sexy spy who's like sexing all the ladies? And
At one point, he has sex with 6 women at once.
6 women at once. He goes to have sex with one woman,
Yep.
and that woman goes, I don't want to have sex with you, but luckily there are 6 women here who will have sex with
Yeah.
you. And then you see, and then it cuts to like presumably 48 hours later, and they're all asleep from being sexed so well, and he's like, my job's so hard.
Then he puts on his dirty, piss-stained fur coat.
The dirtiest, ugly coat that's ever existed. It
yeah.
looks, it's like a dead ram. It's horrible.
Yeah, right?
It's all matted and knotted up.
Yeah.
It's no good. And there's all these things of like, because the bit that really stuck out for me was he meets this CIA assistant lady she's like a sexy lady, but she's got glasses or
Yeah.
whatever. And her immediate reaction is, you're the most good-looking man I've ever seen. I can't believe I'm standing in the presence of Xander Cage. Bearing in mind, he looks like a fucking egg in a vest. He's ridiculous.
He does, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's a bad-looking man,
Yeah.
but the way they talk about him
Yep.
is like there has never been a person this good-looking.
Yeah.
And they're like...
Like he seems, in real life, like he seems real charming and fun, and I bet if you hung out with him,
Yeah.
it'd be fun, but...
And he's probably real life good-looking.
Yeah, and I think, and you know, and I bet there's tons of women out there who are like, how charming and handsome is he? But to find 6 supermodels in the same room who are all like, yep, absolutely, definitely, 100% my type. Yeah, very odd.
So the opening sequence, which blew my mind,
Yes.
and this is in the trailer,
Uh-huh.
this is all spoilers anyway, not that it matters. He's at the top of a radio tower. He steals a transceiver.
Wait, is that the opening sequence or is there a pre-opening sequence?
No, sorry, there's a Samuel L. Jackson opening sequence where that's maybe a famous soccer player that he's trying to recruit to be a Triple X.
Because he's good at soccer.
Because he can
and
kick a...
The Triple X team, as a throwback to action movies of the 80s, I guess, if you have a seemingly useless skill,
Yeah.
or like a skill that isn't suited to action, you can be on a super team of elites.
And it's
Because you're so extreme.
And it is the opening is kind of interesting because Samuel L. Jackson, who's in the other two, which I haven't seen, is pushing real hard to recruit this star soccer player to be in the Triple X program. And the guy's like, "But I'm just a regular soccer player,
Soccer star, yeah.
Sorry, football. If you're in the
yeah.
whatever.
I'm just the star of the great game."
And then a robber comes in and he kicks like a napkin holder into his head and knocks him out. And Samuel L. Jackson's like, "So you could be a Triple X?" And then a satellite crashes and there's just fire through the frame, killing Samuel L. Jackson, except he's not dead or injured and he's bald. So maybe it's singed off all his hair because he turns up at the end.
That's the world of Triple X.
What was the point
Death
of that?
is meaningless in the world of Triple X.
Well, it is
Up
because-
is down, right is wrong, who knows?
Eggs are sex symbols. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's for all the Twitter eggs out there. They
might
want to
be
believe
it.
they're sex symbols.
So he disappears, and the role of Samuel L. Jackson recruiting Triple X goes to Toni Collette, who, to be fair, does exactly what she needs to do in this.
Chew a whole bunch of
Just
scenery.
chew it up,
The
yeah.
worst dialogue. Like,
Said by a really good actress.
the worst performance she's ever put in.
Yeah. no
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Because they need to recruit Triple X because there's a box which can crash satellites, but also it's the only one, or there's two. Sorry.
So basically, here's the
Sorry,
plot.
what's the story?
Oh, no.
I mean, you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, so basically, there is a box called Pandora's Box. The tech boy, the nerds in the lab called it Pandora's
It's
Box,
the name
right?
of everything, isn't it?
And it crashed a satellite onto
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson. So the
soccer player.
Yep, whatever.
Well, he's alive.
Yeah, the CIA found who unleashed this Pandora's Box.
Yeah.
They killed him, presumably. They collected the Pandora's Box, and they're like, here it is.
Oh, is that what happened? I thought
Yeah.
the CIA did. It's not important.
No, the CIA
That's
got it,
irrelevant,
and they gave it to Toni Collette, and she's like, here's this box, we've got to keep it out of enemy hands.
Yeah.
And then a team...
Bearing in mind it has no USB ports.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how it works.
How does it work? Probably has like some sort of dongle.
Bluetooth?
Maybe Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Maybe it's WAP enabled.
It may be.
So anyway, they get it, and then a team shows up.
Yeah.
Who kill everybody in the CIA.
Donnie Yen takes a running jump off a neighboring skyscraper,
Yep.
drops minimum 50 feet through a plate glass window, does a roll, and kicks the shit out of 20 guys in a room.
Yeah.
And he's... Look, you know what? He's really good.
Yeah,
His
right.
action sequences are really
That's
good.
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. There's one later when he's on the plane.
Yeah.
And there's one later where there's one earlier where he's fighting Vin Diesel on the
street.
freeway.
Yeah.
And he's doing the multi-high kicks and he's amazing. And there's one where he's fighting all the goons on the plane and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Put him in a better movie.
Yeah. Put him in the Fast and Furious movies. He should be in that. Because that's how they tried to build it. They
Yeah.
tried to build it as this Fast and Furious movie. And so the box...
It is Fast and Furious in
It
many
certainly
ways.
is in a lot of ways, with a much lower budget. And some of the CGI waves certainly demonstrate that, which we'll talk about.
yeah.
But so then Xander Cage, he doesn't. They recruit him, they get him back, and he's like, "I don't want your pencil pushing soldiers. I'm going to bring my own team in." And the team is Ruby Rose, who's a pretty
Yeah.
good sniper.
Oh, I was going to say,
Valid. Oh, sorry, go on.
they've got a team of bad guys.
Yep.
And he builds his own team of good guys, and they're going to face off, which is something that I love in movies.
Yeah.
Well, and in TV shows where you've got a team of experts versus their opposite numbers. I always think that's great.
Agreed.
and both teams are deadly, and both teams are highly skilled, and both teams have one guy who's in it for no reason. There's no reason for him to be in it. They don't look useless.
Okay, so the
good guys.
Vin Diesel's team has
Triple X.
Triple X who can do everything.
Yep.
They have Ruby Rose, who's a sniper.
Yep.
Who might be the next Jai Courtney. We'll just see what happens.
See how we go. Yeah.
But she's not terrible in this.
I agree.
And I'm not a massive Ruby Rose fan, but she did okay. And then there's a DJ.
Wait, there's the
There's
Irish.
4 guys.
There's the Irish.
He's the Hound
driver
from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's the wheel man.
He's good at crashing cars.
And at least he's got a death wish or whatever he's got. And
the DJ who's a DJ.
Yeah.
And he can fire a gun.
But everybody can fire a gun.
Everybody in this is firing guns at all times.
Yeah.
I don't... Because they go to a party at one point and Vin Diesel's like, don't drink at this party. And the DJ's like, I'm going to drink at this party. And then he drinks and DJs. But that's the end of it.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
There's no consequence. And he's not a DJ / escape artist. He's not a DJ / explosives expert.
No.
He's just a DJ. So I spoke to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and I'm like, what's his deal? And he's like, oh, he's a Chinese pop star. So the answer is always, if you don't know what a character is in a movie, and you don't know why they're a Chinese pop star. And also, I said to him, isn't it weird?
Oh, there's going to be more of these movies then. It's going to do really well in China.
Yeah. So, and I said to him, and this is a guy, my friend Martin, who I think maybe listens to the show. Hi, Martin, if you're listening.
Shut up, Martin.
Yeah, shut up with your opinions, Martin. But he's right on it with movies. Like, he's got an encyclopedic knowledge of movies, and he picks up on so many things that I miss in movies.
He should do this show.
Yeah, I know, right? He'd be better at it. And I said, isn't it weird how both teams have a guy who's completely useless? And he went, what do you mean? And I went, well, there's the DJ, and on the bad guy's side, there's the other guy.
Is he a rugby player?
And he went, what? And I'm like, the fourth
he had the
member.
cauliflower.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
Who is he?
and he's like, I didn't even remember that guy existed in that movie because
he was tough.
He was tough. I think
But they're all tough.
Yeah, I know, right? Useless.
And it's so bizarre because you can knock out a bad guy by punch him in the face. But also Vin Diesel at one point gets fully hit by a car.
Him and Donnie Yen both get hit by cars.
Not just tapped.
Yeah.
Hit.
Yeah.
And they just look at each other like the life of a triple X.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And then they're up and off.
Yeah.
But the movie opens with, that's what I was going to talk about at the start. He's in a radio tower.
Yes.
And you don't know where he is. Mm-hmm. And then he grabs a radio transceiver.
Probably in Paraguay.
And then you look down and you see sort of in the jungle and the soldiers are like, get down from there, Triple X. Stop being so extreme. And he's like,
I'll never stop being so extreme.
And then I don't know whether he...
Bird's gotta fly.
I don't know whether he put the skis...
Tiger can't change its stripes.
I don't know whether he put the skis up there the day before or he'd carried them up there.
Or they were just built into his shoes.
Or they were built into it. But he clicks into a pair of downhill skis.
Yep.
Drops 50 feet.
At least, maybe 100 feet.
Maybe 100 feet.
That's the precedent for Donnie Yen leaping into that building because it wasn't as extreme as Vin Diesel dropping 100 feet off a conning tower on skis.
But not only that, like he hits the jungle, and I was kind of like, this is what this is. But he lands perfectly in between 2 ski poles, and then he's down the mountain, down a jungle with 2 ski poles until he hits a hut, and then he's like, time for my Triple X skateboard.
And the kids are like, here's your Triple X skateboard, Triple X. Time to be extreme in a way only you can, down a hill.
Only a way a 50-year-old egg can be. And then he's off down the mountain.
Yeah.
And he goes up, people have seen the trailer, he goes up the side of a bus, he's high-fiving cars on the way down.
Those people have broken arms.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. It's insanity. But it's also kind of fun.
Yeah, because it's fun because it felt like I don't know, there's probably a Steven Seagal movie where you think he's in a dangerous action sequence, but actually he's just delivering some egg rolls or whatever.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the similar thing. That was kind of fun.
Because all he was doing was bringing the football to the Paraguayans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, time to go to a different town because I'm Triple X. And you know that because later you see the map and he's like, I've been to too many towns.
That's right, I've been all these towns.
I've been too extreme in my 50 years of being an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think with all his skills he'd just remember that. Because if he left that map somewhere, people would be like, well, realistically, you can only be in like 4 more towns and he's been everywhere.
It's better than him looking at his phone and like his Facebook wall and all these tagged in posts,
right.
I guess. Yeah. But so when he gets recruited, there's a CIA operative / personal assistant, I guess, who's immediately the most annoying character.
Oh, actually, you know, if we're going to talk about, you mentioned Ruby Rose.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know. I have not seen Ruby Rose in basically anything. She's in John Wick for like 5 minutes, I think.
I think she's in the new one.
She's in she's filming John Wick 2.
Yeah,
maybe.
But
yeah.
she's in Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, I haven't seen that season.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You've probably seen her in accepting an MTV Movie Award, yelling at her bullies. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, but anyway, I don't have any opinion on Ruby Rose. She seems fine. She's got great teeth. But
no
I
argument
know
there.
a lot of people who are like, "Oh, Ruby Rose, no good. Don't
Sure.
like her. She's annoying." And I think the producers of this film have gone. A lot of people think Ruby Rose is annoying, so to preempt that, we will cover for her by introducing the most annoying character that I have seen probably in a movie in probably 10 years at least. So Nina Dobrev plays.
How did you know her name? Because you said that, because we were just talking to each other during
Yeah,
this.
I don't know. I remember,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. I don't think I've seen her in anything, but I remember the name.
Yeah.
So, but she is, I guess, Tony Collette's personal assistant.
Or Triple X's personal assistant.
And she is thoroughly annoying.
The first thing she says is, "Oh my god, it's Xander Cage. This is the best thing I've seen since Coachella. Except I didn't go to Coachella. I'm mostly inside. Can I have sex with you? This is my safe word. I don't like guns, but I'm also really rad."
Yeah.
This is the bit that really got me. It really bothered me. This is the bit that bothered me the most, where she goes...
In the whole
"Look,
movie?
Yes. She's like, "You're so jacked. You're just like the Terminator." First of all, he's not. Look,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not a fit man. He's definitely fitter than me, but he's a little bit fat.
and you do CrossFit.
I sometimes do that. You know what I mean?
you won't shut up about CrossFit.
Everybody tells me it's not important. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's unfit. They do
Yeah.
a Daniel Craig coming out of the surf moment, but he's not Daniel Craig.
That's true.
And I'm not saying he's not unfit, but I'm just saying he's not The Rock, is he?
No,
he's
that's
clearly
true.
not The Rock. And she's like, "You're so jacked, but not like the Terminator, but not like the Terminator from Terminator 1, the liquid Terminator."
No, she says the Terminator. She says you're not like the Terminator from Terminator 1. You're like the Terminator from Terminator 2 that goes back to kill the Terminator from Terminator 1.
The liquid Terminator,
Yeah.
who is the wiriest man
Yeah.
on Earth.
That's why they got him, because he was so wiry. You're right. It was.
It makes no sense. Who was on the set that day who has not seen Terminator 2?
Right?
Everybody's seen Terminator 2. How did that slip through?
Everybody on that set has seen all the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, including True Lies, because they stole a gag from
They
True
absolutely
Lies.
Yeah, specifically with that character.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, that bit bothered me.
Yeah.
But there is a bit at the end where she doesn't want to shoot guns, but luckily she overcomes her fear of shooting guns by
shoot a
shooting
gun.
guns.
Yeah.
And she drops a machine gun, and then it spirals around and shoots two guys, and then she's like, "That's
In
awesome."
a way that guns have never done.
That's right.
You cannot do that.
Except in
I
the
think
mov-
they did that
except
on,
in the movie
I think
True
they even
Lies.
did that on Mythbusters once.
Oh, right.
Like, you can just throw a
Slam
gun on the
them
ground
down, yeah.
all the time. Like, it will not go off.
You can throw a gun into a forest fire and nothing will happen. Yeah. So they do the True Lies gag, and it's not funny.
If it goes off, it'll fire once.
Yeah. But it
What's
just...
holding the trigger down?
These are all good questions,
Yeah,
Mason.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, True Lies is... Because True Lies is tongue-in-cheek and over the top in a way that's very self-aware. But this ranges from being really self-aware to what is happening? Like, who's doing this?
Yeah.
That's the way
I forgot the opposing team. It's Donnie Yen, who's great.
Yes.
It's that lady,
Yeah.
who we should really look up. It would be nice to remember her name in this, because she's great. I think she's great in it.
Yeah, she was okay, yeah. They had that bit where there's the knife and the gun to the throat.
Yeah, okay, it's pretty good.
No, that wasn't what I was going to say. I was just saying that was a bit that was in the movie.
Yeah. Her name is Deepika Padukone. I'm saying that incorrectly, but there it is.
Nah, you got that, mate.
Yeah,
Don't
nice.
worry about that.
And the great Tony Jaa is the...
Yeah, who's also in Fast and Furious. The last
right.
one, he fights Paul Walker on a bus.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's in it, and then the rugby guy.
Yeah. Maybe he's a rugby guy. Maybe he's an MMA guy.
One thing that I thought of, if it's not just Chinese pop star,
She's an Indian film actress.
well, that makes
That
sense.
makes sense, yeah.
I thought maybe in the movie, maybe they just, and I'd have to watch it again to be sure, but maybe they just ran out of combinations.
Right.
Like maybe they went, okay, in this first action sequence, person A is going to fight person B, and person C is going to fight person D, and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
in the next sequence, person A is going to fight person F, and person B is going to fight person C is going to fight person, but they just went like that. And then they got to a point, and they're like, we can't just have them fight again.
Yeah.
We're going to have to add 2 more characters.
Yeah.
I think that might be it.
But there's nothing like, oh, thank God these two are kind of, going to have a showdown.
Yeah.
Every Fast and Furious movies, you're like, oh, The Rock's going to fight Vin Diesel. Oh,
Yeah,
Jason
yeah.
Statham's going to fight Vin
That's
Diesel.
true.
Oh, Paul Walker's going to fight Tony Jaa. This, I'm like, I don't care if any of these guys even meet.
That's
like,
true,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter to me at all.
Either that or they built the teams according to Transformers rules, which is you have Brave Leader, you have like Rogue second in command, you have like Big Powerhouse, and you have Guy who can transform into a tape player, which is how they got the DJ, potentially.
Absolutely. We got to talk about the jet ski.
Oh, see,
motorcycle
that's what I'm
bit.
talking about. Like, even the sequence where they both, like, where Donnie Yen and Triple X both get hit by cars and they fight on the freeway.
That's a fun kind of chase.
It's fun,
yeah.
and it's feel. Even though they both definitely would have died being hit by the car, it's visceral and it's kind of solid,
it feels
and
real.
they're both definitely
I mean,
there.
Vin Diesel could not outrun Donnie Yen.
No,
Let's not kid ourselves.
no.
But it's. I agree. It's
He couldn't chase him over a fence.
Definitely not.
No,
Yeah.
but at least that feels on the hits feel solid.
Yeah.
There's that sequence where they're both chasing each other off the.
They're on motorcycle. They're on dirt bikes.
So
Vin Diesel beats up 4 guys with a dirt bike. He's kicking the wheel
That's
into
right.
them. Do you remember that?
Now
that
this is they've both been on the floating nightclub.
They go to Bali. Or
Yeah,
something.
okay, right. They're both on holiday Bali. Okay, that'll bring in a lot of Australians.
Yeah.
And then they both there's a big dirt bike chase, and then they both leap off solid ground onto the water, and in midair, both of their motorcycles transform into jet skis.
Also, Vin Diesel discovers that midair.
yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he sees Donnie Yen do it, and then he looks down midair and is like, "Oh no, mine does that."
I've got a jet ski,
and it's literally
motorcycle as well.
just a ski on each wheel.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. Like, how is it propelled? Because the wheel is in about half an inch of water. I don't know how they're getting that speed, how they're staying up.
we just sort of whisk through.
Yeah,
They would
how they're
stand
staying
through-
upright, how it's floating. Like, you'd think if it was floating, it would have to be like a jet ski or even skis where there's like, they're side by side, they're parallel.
Yeah, right.
Like train tracks.
Yeah.
But they're just,
It'd be like trying to unicycle across a river.
that's right, exactly.
I don't know.
So they go off, they go into the waves.
What do you call it when it's like a half pipe of water? What do you call that? Is there a term
It's
for
just
it?
a half pipe. I
Okay.
think. Yeah. But they do a half pipe.
And it's just the most laughable. There were in front of us at the theater. There was a group of people, I assume, also reviewing for a weird podcast, who were loving this movie. Ironically, every second of this, they were loving just how dumb
absolutely.
it was.
Yeah.
But it was just this laughable CGI.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at one point, they both go underwater.
Yes.
And then they come out of the water.
The underwater bit looked okay because it looked like they put Vin Diesel underwater.
Sure, right.
But it looked like Die Another Day, Pierce Brosnan paragliding on the wave.
Yeah, right.
Which makes sense because this movie should have come out in 2002, the same year that did.
Yeah.
But then also, so Triple X gets because he's after the Pandora's box, and he
Yeah.
gets it off Donnie Yen, and he comes out of the water and he does his James Bond moment. He's a bit fat. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying,
Diversity of body shape in film is good, I think.
Absolutely.
You know what?
But they emphasized it a bit too much. Do you know what I mean? To be like, look at this. You
Look at
like this, don't
Look
you?
at this beefcake right here. But that's how men were in movies in the 60s.
That's how men were in the movies 15 years ago. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
But Donnie Yen's gone.
It's never explained where he
just
goes. You're right.
disappears.
He
Like,
just disappeared
he goes
in the water.
under a wave. You don't see, like, he gets hit by a wave and he's gone.
He just
He
dispersed
doesn't
in the
come
water.
back for the
He just
box.
dispersed in the water like piss in a swimming pool. just gone like a golden ghost.
But then they team up to
Yeah.
get the real box.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Because there's a real Pandora's box.
Yep.
If you thought that was the real one,
You were wrong,
you're
baby.
naive. Because that
What
could
an
only
idiot.
crash one satellite.
Yep.
But the real one can crash
All the
of the
satellites.
satellites. I love it how they're like,
And it
this-
turned out the real villain was some guy. You thought it was going to be Donnie Yen, charismatic action star Donnie Yen, but it wasn't. It's some guy who looks like Amanda Sante, but isn't Amanda Sante. We had to look it up later. It's not Amanda Sante.
So, but also the CIA have framed Triple X.
Yep.
Because they want to use Triple X to do all the Triple X things, but then get the box to crash their own satellites for the government.
Yeah.
But then Triple X is like, I don't care for any of this. So
I'm going to do some extreme things and you'll regret it. And they're like, we didn't expect him to do extreme things.
So he gets shot point blank in the chest by Tony Collette, but luckily he was sexily put on body armor by the
indestructible, invisible body armor.
Yeah, that's right. Earlier.
That Tony Collette probably should have known about.
Also, Tony...
Or should have just shot him in the head. Why would you leave it to chance?
Why would you? Why would you shoot him in the chest and then just leave him on the floor?
Why would you get into that standoff with him when he didn't know you were going to betray him yet, so you could just shoot him in the back of the head? Like...
Because she explains it. She's like, you know how the government is. We're going to rule the world and this is America or whatever. Like, just kill him. Who cares?
Exactly.
God.
I guess because this is...
It's a movie, isn't it?
And it's a movie, and it's supposed to be like a more extreme James Bond. And traditionally, a James Bond villain explains what's going to happen before they do it. And sure, the time of that is past. It's way past, but fine, put it in.
It's not that past, because the last James Bond did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
James Bond's back to form. He's not back to form. Casino Royale, he was back to form.
Yes.
It's been a declining scale. Anyway.
Skyfall was a triumph of cinema, wasn't it?
Shut up, no.
So
everyone's wrong.
He's dead on the floor of the plane with what's his name?
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen, and because Donnie Yen's now a good guy, because he was going to use the box himself, but now he's going to...
How specifically? It's never said.
He doesn't even have a port. How was he going to do it?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Then Donnie Yen's like, no, not Triple X, because Donnie Yen's also Triple X. He was a Triple X. Everyone's a Triple X.
No, all the bad guy team are Triple X.
That's true. Yeah.
The Triple X's team are outside the bounds of Triple X because in a way they're too extreme to be Triple X.
I feel like they've really watered down the recruitment for Triple X.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I understand Vin Diesel got his own team. It's like he's maybe not. So he's maybe his criteria is more kind of like, oh, this is a friend. I'll just get him into the Triple X.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, mates.
But all the other ones, I'm like, yeah, come on.
No, I'm gonna look up.
Tony Jaa, I'll give the Triple X to.
Yeah,
he could do a
Lady
flip.
Triple X was great though.
But what could she do?
Remember the sequence with the grenades?
Yeah,
that sequence is fun.
Yeah,
and it's dumb, but it's good.
It is. It's basically Russian roulette with
I'm going to call her
grenades.
Depika. I'm assuming I'm mispronouncing that, but there you go. I thought she was great in that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But like, so there's because there's like a grenade.
And she's good at shooting and she's good at flipping
there's
and whatever.
Is it her who's back to back with Ruby Rose?
Yes, it is.
Don't like that.
I thought it was kind of fun.
Shooting, come on.
I know it's dumb.
We're still doing that.
But I think at that point we were kind of deep into it. When you think of bad action movies that should have realised they're way past their...
Triple X, the return of... is this one Xander Cage?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think, like, when you think of action tropes that should be... or action movies even that should have realised they're way past their expiration date. Like Expendables 3 as an example. Like, that's bad.
This is better than that.
This is way
funner.
better. This is much more fun than that. And I thought those two were pretty good together.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, fair
But
enough.
again, like, when we talk about these characters... Some of Ruby Rose's dialogue I thought was kind of fun, where she's like, "Oh my god, what's he doing there?" It's
but
so
Ruby
90s.
Rose also drops "That's what she said,"
but that's not her fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying
they needed something to end that scene. Like, there's a scene where she's the most annoying character in the movie says, "Oh, you really know what you're doing down there," and she's like, "That's what she said," and that's whatever. But there's the bit where
it's very funny.
She's looking at I can't remember the setup, but she's looking at something through a sniper scope, and she's like, "Oh my god, what he's doing there is so 90s. Look at it, he's going to send a fax at you."
Yeah,
thing. And I'm like,
I don't mind the sniper scene.
Yeah.
That was all right. That was Ruby Rose's best performance in anything I've seen her.
There you go.
Both of us have seen her in.
Yeah, right.
And she does the thing where she I was going to say Spando Ballet. That's not it. What's it called? That crazy circus thing they do.
Yeah, she did a
Cirque du
Soleil.
Soleil.
She's Cirque du Soleil.
She's Spando Ballet right out of that tree.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay,
She
so
Ringling Circus.
yes. So after Triple X explodes a plane or during, and Donnie Yen gets shot in the chest, but he's fine. Did he
get shot in the chest?
I think he did.
Okay.
He definitely got shot point blank.
Okay,
but you don't see where he got hit. But maybe he had the magic body armor.
Yeah.
Ice Cube turns up.
Yeah. Which, in the one hand, bonus Ice Cube in a movie, I'm all for that.
Me too.
I think that's excellent. But there's no foreshadowing that he's going to be in this.
No.
So unless...
And I know he was in the last one, but I haven't seen it.
Right.
Yeah.
And this movie is 11 or 12 years after
2005.
Because he's Triple X 2005.
Or 6. Let's say 5, yeah.
So if this movie is just for this movie cannot be just geared towards XXX fans because they don't exist anymore.
No, they don't.
So it must be for new people who are like, let's get on board with this fun new action franchise.
Before we see
In which
Triple X,
case-
we should watch the other Triple X's.
Right. So in this case, so without any context, it's just a guy showing up to save the day with no foreshadowing.
And they also mentioned that he hasn't done anything for 11 years. They say
He's
that
been waiting for a
specifically.
call for 11 years.
And he also maybe has Vin Diesel's car, if that is Vin Diesel's car.
I think it is, yeah.
So when Vin Diesel parachutes out of the sky, which by the way is a scene stolen directly from Uncharted 3, where a man flies through the air out of a cargo plane, grabs a crate, and then whatever, and lands. The pop star, who is apparently a pop star, is filming it on his...
What we presume is a
Some
product,
kind of
placement camera, a little
Hey
handheld.
man, we do ads. That's
Yeah,
fine. It is what
that's
it is.
right.
It was just a weird... But it was also
He
weird
was
they didn't
probably-
show what it was.
No, he was probably filming the action on his Mack Weldon antimicrobial t-shirt.
Offer code.
Classic crew neck.
Offer code, whatever our offer code is.
So good.
So the Ice Cube turns up and they bro hug.
Yeah.
And they're like,
'Cause
let's...
They've never met, but they're bros.
Apparently.
And they're family.
And Ice Cube has his car,
yeah.
which I guess means he lives in the area.
Or lives in the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he hasn't had work for 11 years,
Yeah.
has he?
Yeah.
And then they're like, more adventures, please.
Yeah, so that means they're going to team up in the next one. Which
Well,
I would watch.
but there's a lot
I will
of-
1,000,000%
Yeah,
watch
you're
that.
right. There's a lot of international stars in this. I
Yeah.
was like, there's no way this will get a sequel. But
Mm.
it might.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this was crap. And if you're gonna watch it, don't watch it with a group of people who can kind of appreciate and laugh at a thing
Yeah.
in your house.
Yeah.
Don't
Here's
go
my tip
out.
for you. Don't take a date to this movie.
Definitely not.
Because you'd be...
It's the kind
You
of
had
movie...
some head in hand. We don't watch a lot of movies together because of scheduling and what have you.
Yeah.
But you had your head in your hands for some of it.
It was our date, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like it's the kind of thing where I'm sure I've seen a movie on a date like this with a girl when I was a single man.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, it's a kind of like they insist that we see a movie like this to show that, like, hey, this is a guy movie and neither of us want to see it. Like, no, I don't need this. And you're just saying, you're just trying to be polite and think this is a movie I want to see. I don't want to see this. But then again, we did see a lot of garbage, didn't we?
That's true.
This movie really, it harkened back, Mason,
Oh,
to that
yes.
era between like 2000 and 2009 where we saw everything.
Yeah, right.
We saw literally every movie,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I'm going to say best movie ever.
Definitely worst.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot recommend this.
Worst movie ever.
Yeah.
Are we resetting our worst movie ever barometer at the start of every year?
What is the barometer? Who knows?
It's a very vague system, in a way.
I just can't say, you shouldn't pay for this.
Look, if a group of friends were seeing it, I'd probably pay and see it again.
Okay, fair enough.
So, you know
All
what?
right, fair enough.
There was some solid action. Some of it was fun. I like most of the personalities in this movie.
Sure.
Did anything else happen in this?
It's not going to be the new Fast and Furious.
No, definitely
Which is
not.
what they're kind of gearing it towards.
What else dumb happened? Ruby Rose shoots the CIA guy through Triple X's fingers.
I liked that.
It was
I thought
fun.
that was okay.
Yeah. They actually explained why she couldn't see him with thermal imaging
Yeah.
because he heated the
there
room
was
up,
so many,
I guess.
There's too many haters.
That's a real genius move from that guy.
Yes, it is.
That
I knew that
generic
Ruby
man.
Rose was going to
Yeah.
be using vision.
Anyway, that's it, I think. If I think of anything while we discuss Sherlock.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of,
Yeah.
we're going to spoil Sherlock.
Yeah.
So get ready for that. This
Yeah.
is happening now. There's only been 3 episodes, but they're like feature length nearly,
They're
aren't they?
long episodes.
Have you seen all
That's
3?
a feature length is one way of saying it. Long is another way. I did watch all 3, yes.
I liked the middle one and half of the last one. What did you like?
What happened in the first one? Refresh my memory. Which one was that again?
Spies. I don't buy Martin Freeman's Watson's wife as this super international British spy. I did before they showed her doing
the
all
stuff.
the
Okay,
stuff. And I'm
right,
like,
yeah.
no,
She's no Triple X, is she?
she certainly isn't. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right.
I-
If she were... No, exactly. If she were a... Like a...
Covert,
Yeah,
doing an undercover.
like a spy in the sense that she was in an office or something.
Yeah.
Like, not even... Like,
with
or-
Martin Freeman in the
yeah,
office.
or like... Yes, exactly. Or even,
she
know,
was Gareth the whole time.
Yeah, or if she was like posing as a, normal citizen, but she's going to like dead drops and she's making calls late at night. That's a spy I could buy her as, but not this SAS.
No.
Wearing the balaclava and holding the machine gun.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Like halfway to Kingsman kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Didn't
exactly
buy it
what
at all.
was,
Yeah, you're right.
So the story of the first one was there was a man.
We're going to breeze through these.
I don't even remember this one. It's been a few weeks. So there was a man who hated her because she'd apparently ratted out their super cool spy team.
Yeah.
But it turned out she didn't, and it was the secretary. But there was that. You know what the problem with this episode, except probably these series, except for the second one, you can't piece together the clues to figure it out,
right?
Because it's just these revelations are dropped like, oh, it's the secretary.
How would
I know that?
Yeah, we're spoiling all these, right?
Yes, we already said that.
Yeah, or there's a revelation like, oh, Sherlock has 2 more siblings.
Yeah,
there's no way to guess that.
Yeah, that's right.
If you know what, if you could go back through the previous 3 seasons of Sherlock and go, oh my god, that's a clue and that's a clue and that's a clue, and it turned out
the only clue was he had a dog, and that dog wasn't a dog; it was a boy. How the fuck would? Anyway.
Yeah. This season invented a whole bunch of ways to repress people's memories.
Yes.
Like
or like
erase
twist
them.
people's minds, hypnosis and whatever.
He's not the mentalist, he's Sherlock.
Well, he's not, but his sister is.
He's the mentalist apparently.
He could do anything and make anybody do anything and whatever.
Uh-huh.
Which I didn't even hate that element of it, because you kind of let's go. Maybe we should go back to the start.
Okay.
Okay. Episode 1. Is Moriarty's back and Sherlock.
Baby.
Yeah. Sherlock thinks this whole thing is Moriarty related, and I actually didn't mind the twist of like they solve a few minor cases where the guy's son appears dead in the car, and it turns out he was trying to surprise his dad and whatever.
I didn't see the
like
previous...
that's a case where you look at it and you go, oh, when you look at the facts of how that came to be, I mean, it's dumb, but it makes sense because you set all the pins up.
Yeah.
The
I didn't watch the previous season of this, by the way.
It's irrelevant.
It's after he apparently died, but he fell into the bloody... See, that's why I didn't...
What?
Sherlock jumped off the roof, but he fell in the truck full of mattresses,
he did.
right?
Oh, something like that.
And then he replaced because he went to the mall
Yeah,
to
there
get a
was a
body.
mask.
Anyway,
I
okay,
don't
great.
know, yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's irrelevant, yeah.
But in the previous one, it appeared that he killed somebody, or he did kill
Yeah,
somebody.
he
right?
killed. He's the second.
He killed the
greatest
new
villain.
Moriarty.
He
right?
killed it. I can't remember. He's an actual.
Who's not the Napoleon of crime, but he's the Napoleon of bad real estate deals or something,
yes.
right? Yeah.
And because that guy had a mind palace like Sherlock.
Ah, okay, right. And then Mycroft covered it up.
Yes, because they needed Sherlock back to
Right.
because the real Moriarty,
Oh,
who was dead actually, and just
and remains dead.
recorded a whole lot of DVDs of himself just going
Right.
no or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now it's just a jump to the left and a step to the right. Am I going too big in this? Am I going too big?
Yeah,
you
you can cut
are.
this out if you want. Yeah. So in the first episode, I don't know. I don't have anything to say. I didn't like it at all. It was a really complicated case that was also kind of like dumb in the worst ways. And then Watson sort of cheated on his wife. But then they sort of explained that in the third
She only
episode.
cheated with texting, right? Is that?
Yeah, but it was also ended up being Sherlock's sister who can make anybody do anything. So it's okay, Watson.
It's fine, yeah.
You're allowed to...
Something that I didn't care about in this season is what I like about what I think you should come back for in this series, and the only reason I came back for in this season, well, one, because we had to, but the only reason I came back ultimately is because I like Martin Freeman and Cumberbatch interacting.
They're really good.
Except you can't have a light, fluffy interaction if Sherlock got your wife killed.
No, that's right.
And then you were both in a deadly cat and mouse scenario where you had to choose to kill each other or something. Like, you can't come back from that.
No, you can't.
You can't. And at the end, like right at the end of the series, they make it. They go, okay, well, we'll just build our house back exactly the way it was, and then at the beginning of season 5, we'll pretend none of it happened again. Like,
if there is a season 5, Mason,
this is a fresh, like this is the fresh start reboot.
Yeah,
like I reckon if there is a season 5, they will just pretend none of the previous stuff happened.
Yeah,
I reckon it's going to be 3 separate cases. I reckon they're going to go back to adapting.
Well, that's what we thought. Like the James Bond stuff got too complicated because it was his family and destiny and whatever, and that's what this became. It was like all these ghosts from his past and whatever came back. Anyway, episode 1, garbage. But Watson's wife died. There were some bright moments, I thought. There were some good little cases that they solved.
Yeah.
which I enjoyed. Second one, I actually enjoyed quite a lot. So there's this very public figure,
Very obviously an evil psychopathic villain.
giant pointed teeth,
Very unlikable.
really popular for some reason.
yeah.
But he's killing people in a hospital.
Bloody Donald Trump.
Well, I thought he was more like that. Who's that weird, horrible skeleton with long white hair?
Rupert Murdoch?
He is that guy. Jimmy Savile.
Oh,
I felt he
okay,
was a
maybe
bit like that.
That's the vibe,
like
right?
this Jimmy Savile, kind of this horrible monster hiding in plain sight. Just
I guess that's the
murdering
idea.
people.
But that being said, like, I don't know anything about Jimmy Savile. Was he on this? Was he a lovable character
Yes.
in the public? This guy doesn't seem like a lovable character.
No, but also when you look at Jimmy Savile, he also doesn't look like a lovable person.
That's
Jimmy
true.
Savile.
We have Rolf Harris.
Yes.
Who looks like a pedophile.
Yes, but no, Jimmy Savile also looks like a
We
pedophile.
have Rolf Harris. I don't want him. Ugh.
New Zealand could have him.
And New Zealand can have Rolf Harris.
But no, Jimmy Savile looks a horrible fucking monster.
Right, okay.
Like a terrible...
Is it the kind of thing where until you know what he's up to, you're like, oh, he could go
No, you look at Jimmy Savile and you're like, this guy's... Something's fucking off about this
Okay,
bloke.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the vibe
And maybe
we're
that's
going
because
with.
everything I kind of know about Jimmy Savile came out after... Like, we
That's what I'm talking about, yeah. Mhm.
But like, he fooled Louis Theroux in the early 2000s
wow.
and whatever. Yeah, so... But Louis Theroux kind of like... that kind of
Do you think you might be some kind of horrible monster, Jimmy? Do you think could be what you're doing isn't quite right?
Yeah, Jimmy Savile was a sociopath.
All right, let's stop talking
in
about
a
him.
lot of ways. But so I think that's what this drew inspiration was from. So it's
That's
a guy.
my Louis Theroux impression.
It's
by the way.
very good.
Thank you.
I thought that was on point.
Logan. Do you think all this killing people with your adamantium claws is not
Appropriate?
quite right? Not appropriate? Oh my god, you're right, Louis.
So this guy's
That's
just
why old man Logan stopped killing people.
Oh.
He had a revelation.
that absolutely it may be the case. So Jimmy Savile's living in a hospital, sort of, and he's got secret passages where he can go in and murder
Yeah.
anybody he wants at any point. Which I was like, that's yeah. I mean, a guy this rich, I guess that's possible.
Sure.
It's like-
There's a guy, H.H. Holmes.
Yeah, there's a man and they referenced him.
Yeah, there
specifically
you go.
in-
That
in
makes
this
sense.
Episode, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The guy who built something specifically so he could just murder people.
There's a H.H. Holmes episode of Do Go On, which was one of my favourite podcasts. They
Ah,
talk
I'm
about
gonna
it.
check that out
Uh-huh,
then.
yeah.
Cool.
Murders.
I will. I like that show. Mm-hmm. So, but even then, like you see, this bloke Jimmy Savile is sitting with a group of kids, just spooking everybody.
Right, yeah.
Like the staff, the kids, and
That's
everything.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And everyone's like, no, he's great, but he's just spooking everybody
Yeah,
in a big way. So Sherlock is heavily addicted to opiates. Well, it's heroin in this, I guess.
Yeah,
because he killed Watson's wife, or got her killed, or he was there.
Right.
But the reason he did it is because she told him that he needs to... What was it? She
told him that he needs to be in trouble so
Watson can save him,
or...
and then Watson will himself be saved.
Right, yeah. Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
It's a bit far-fetched, if you ask me.
And the woman that turns up, who's Jimmy Savile's... I gotta stop calling her
Daughter.
that, is actually Sherlock's sister.
Right.
Which I thought was a nice little twist that...
We could never possibly see coming in a
No,
million
but not
years.
even that, but just be like... That it might have been in Sherlock's mind, that he
Yeah, right,
imagined it. But then also they add that layer of, let's say it was in Sherlock's mind, that Sherlock had imagined this entire scenario and he'd dreamt of facts that he couldn't possibly know to solve this case. Like, that makes no sense. But then it turns out that it was Sherlock's sister.
Yeah, look,
messing
I
with
do
him.
like the idea of... I do like the aspect of making Sherlock not infallible all the time, which is something I hate about previous seasons of this show, is that they just make him the best at everything and everyone loves him, unless you don't love him, but that's only because...
You don't know him.
You don't know him, and maybe he burned you in the past. Like, the only reason...
Maybe you got your wife killed.
Yeah, or maybe he is his equal in Irene Adler, but it turns out she's just in love with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unpleasant. But
And that definitely works into the third episode.
yeah,
of this.
so the idea of him not being infallible all the time, and he has to rely on other people. Like the very first episode of the first season,
Yeah.
he thinks he's infallible, and then it turns out he's gonna, take the poison, remember?
Yeah,
The first one, and then Watson has to save him.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about the first episode. They work well together as a team.
But it's mostly him calling Watson an idiot.
yeah, exactly.
Like, Watson, a lot of the time, doesn't need to be there, but they're like, it's his moral heart.
Yeah.
But he doesn't... I don't believe that he really needs Watson anymore.
See, that's the thing. I'm much rather. And there's been various
But
versions.
they worked well together, but I feel like, that's been lost. What was happening in the first
And there's been various different, there's been many incarnations of Sherlock and Watson over the years.
Yeah.
And there's been ones where Watson's just like this buffoon, like, oh my, Holmes! But I much prefer the version where they complement each other.
Yes.
Because why
have him?
Why even bother with supporting characters if they're unnecessary?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For laughs.
Yeah. Like, and in the first episode of this season where he and talking about being in love with Sherlock, where ultimately Watson goes, oh, it wasn't your fault that my wife was shot here. She made her own choices. She didn't. Sherlock, you baited that woman until she shot.
Yes.
She attempted to shoot you, and then Watson's wife jumped in the way of the bullets.
Which you probably would have known would
Probably
happen.
would have known what was going to happen there.
Yeah.
Like, that was your fault.
Yes, absolutely it was.
They could have...
I don't disagree with you. Anyway, he defeats Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
Or Watson does.
And I kind of think I feel that was... And I understand you like this one, but I think it was too elaborate a setup.
Yeah,
I think there were much better ways to do this than deliberately getting yourself addicted to heroin and almost dying.
He could have just pretended to be addicted to heroin.
Yes.
But I guess they needed a nurse to check him out.
He could have just gotten that guy and beat him up until he admitted that he did it.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the other... At a certain point...
Because once that guy cracked,
yeah,
he just spoke. He was just like, and then I killed this person and this person and this person.
Right.
Because all that stuff they had was inadmissible.
Yeah, right.
And that was also the episode where they're like, Sherlock figured out that Watson was going to leave his cane in there a month prior.
Yeah, right.
Like he knew that was going to happen and whatever. Yeah.
See, I feel that once the incredible... Once the logic reaches such...
Once the incredible storytelling is just into play.
Thank you, that's the words that I was looking for. Once the implausibility of this incredible web of logic and mind palaces reaches its... goes too far the other end, I feel you could just beat the guy up. I feel it just loops around the other side. Just go back to 1970s cop show rules and just beat the guy up until he admits that he did it.
Yeah, and he will.
Yeah, he will.
Episode 3, I thought had a great premise. He's stuck in a prison completing a series of unwinnable tasks where they have to shoot each other or hang each other or smash up a really paper-thin coffin.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah.
So basically they go to a prison who's holding Sherlock's sister who's an absolute incredible psychopath. And this is framed by...
And she's magical.
And this is framed by... there's a girl in the sky flying a plane which is going to hit Britain, and that Sherlock needs to solve that case at the same time.
This episode was a mess, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think it became a mess.
Towards the end, right at the end, yeah.
But I thought the premise was interesting because Sherlock needed to solve this series of a challenge. What are those puzzle rooms that people do?
Escape rooms.
Escape rooms.
Yeah, you had to get through a bunch of escape rooms.
To then speak to the girl on the plane to land the plane and not kill everybody. But it turns out the girl on the plane was Sherlock's sister all along, and that she just wanted Sherlock to love her because she loved Sherlock. Because everybody loves Sherlock.
Terrific. And it's okay that a whole bunch of people died, including the governor's wife.
Yep.
Who did nothing wrong, presumably.
Nah.
But it's okay because the governor was kind of mean, so I guess his wife deserves to die.
I liked the bit where Watson was like, I'm going to kill this guy, I'll do it.
Yeah, right?
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fact that he didn't, I understand why he didn't. So that's the thing, I think there's great characterization. It's really well cast, it's really well acted, but a lot of the time it's just... This is way too complicated.
Yeah, right.
And then at the end, so Watson's chained in the bottom of a well. How did he get down there? Who knows?
Yeah, how did she get him down there, chain him up, and then get out of the well again?
I guess she had a ladder. But then also at the end, Watson's nearly drowning, and they just drop a rope down. He's chained up. You need to get in there and
Oh, maybe they went down again.
Yeah, maybe they went down.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe he had a nail file in his boot.
He didn't, because he would have used it already, wouldn't
Yeah,
he?
he would have been like, I'll see if I can get the nail file out. Well, you concentrate on this.
You land this imaginary plane.
You concentrate on this on your mind palace, and I'll use the file in my boot.
What was the story with the graves?
I don't know.
The fake graves.
Who built the fake graves?
Wasn't it an art installation?
Did she build
Anybody
the fake
who's
graves
listening
as a
to this
child?
who doesn't know who hasn't seen this.
How did you get this far?
Yeah.
It's nonsense to us. If you can explain it. It's probably on the Wikipedia page, but I'm not going to read it.
That being said, I didn't hate it.
Because she was a child. Did she build the graves?
No, I think it was an art installation.
What?
Yeah. Graves.
Because the decoding the graves led to
Her room. And you could give her a hug.
Yeah.
Because she was in a plane in her mind.
Yeah.
And then, but she also killed Sherlock's brother, drowned him.
Did she go? She went to the room. She laid all these traps and then she went to the room.
Yeah.
So there wasn't another one of her. Does she have multiple personalities? What happened in this episode? This episode wasn't very well written, in my opinion.
In a lot of ways, you're right. And then because it wrapped up really quickly.
Yeah, right.
And then at the end, it was like, these guys are the heroes you need. And then they superhero.
What's how does the theme go?
Whatever it is. And they superhero run out of a
Oh, which reminds me
of the explosion.
The terrible explode.
I told you it was terrible.
Yeah,
and you
did.
were like, but it's probably BBC budget. And I was like, yeah, but you're still not going to like
The
it.
BBC budget in the 60s.
Yeah.
That was Doctor Who in the 60s
But I think it
bad.
was, maybe it was intentionally that way.
They didn't even physically jump. Like, if they'd physically smashed through those windows and then we got the terrible explosion, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they just ran towards the windows and then it was just them power walking through midair as the explosion happened behind them, terrible.
Never mind what happens when you hit the pavement. I
Right.
guess they had Vin Diesel's knees, so
Yeah,
they
right.
were fine.
Yeah, huh?
Anyway, Sherlock, I hope it comes back because I kind of enjoy it.
Me too.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Mm-hmm. I just kicked it for however that length of time.
Just
but
for funsies.
What a fun time. Mason, we got to do letters.
We gotta-
Sorry.
no, wait.
We got to do what we're reading.
What we gonna read? Theme to that.
I'm doing the theme. What are we reading today? Have you been reading or watching or seeing or doing?
Well, speaking of Triple X and Donnie Yen in this episode, as we
Sure.
just did, I don't know if you recall, it was a long
Yeah.
time ago. I am going to watch, because I've never seen Ip Man,
I've heard they're great.
which there's
One
a
of
whole...
them fights Mike Tyson or something.
Oh, yeah, in like Ip Man 3, I
Something
think.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real Street Fighter combination.
Indeed.
But yeah, like I watched Donnie Yen in Triple X, and I'm like, I wish there were some movies that showcased that he's great at this.
Why would he only appear in this movie and not better movies?
So Ip Man, I believe, is the story of Ip Man,
Correct?
not IP Man.
No.
He didn't invent
Not
intellectual
intellectual property, man. Yeah.
But what if he was? Imagine that superhero. I imagine it'd be a little something like this.
Just imagine we cut to an incredibly hilarious skit that we did just
We
then.
did a skit.
Yeah.
We'll record that skit later if we remember, and we won't. But it's the story of the guy who founded the Wing Chun Kung Fu.
And he meets young Bruce Lee.
Yeah, because he trained Bruce Lee in Wing Chun before Bruce Lee became the best.
Yeah.
And is it his story, but it's been dramatized?
Sure.
I guess.
Yep, it is.
'Cause he's great.
I don't know.
Yeah, fantastic.
Imagine editing a scenario in your mind where I knew a lot about this and explained the world of it.
But apparently they're great, and I want to just see him kick stuff, so
Yeah,
that's going to be
that's-
pretty good.
well, that's what
Also,
you
I've been
get.
reading, I don't know if you've been reading this. Have you been reading Unworthy Thor?
No, I haven't actually.
So Unworthy Thor, so we've got two Thor
You're
books
back on the
happening.
Marvel bandwagon.
I'm back
Good
on the
on you,
Marvel
man.
bandwagon,
Yeah.
some of which are great and some of which are not great, but
That's comics, isn't it, man?
yeah, it's comics, exactly.
Yeah.
So this one I've been really enjoying. I cannot remember the writer or artist, but they're great. So it's currently Jane Foster possesses the power of Thor.
Yes.
She is wielding Thor's hammer because Thor learned something that we don't know
they
yet.
found out what that is yet?
No, we don't
It's
know
been
what it is
ages.
yet. Yeah, that was like in original
I
sin.
want to say at least a year.
Yeah, right?
Minimum.
Yeah, something like. But then they had Civil War, and I guess he was out of
There was Civil War.
continuity for a while. So yeah, he learned something that made him unworthy to wield the hammer.
Yeah.
But he's still so he's lost all of his godlike power. So he's just calling himself Odinson now.
Right.
But he's still like, well, I still have to go and save the world and defeat the evil and stuff like that. But he doesn't have. He's a raggedy man now, and he lost one of his arms, and now he's got like a magical Uru metal arm.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has
Like
his.
the Destroyer's arm. Sort
That's
of.
right. Yeah. And he's just wielding an axe.
Yarn Born. I think
Yeah,
it's called.
which is the axe he had before he had Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And he rides on your mate, a giant goat,
Oh,
a giant flying goat called Tooth Gnasher.
Come on, man.
With big old
big old ram goat
big old
horns.
ram horns. And like he's kind of a sad figure now. Like at one point he throws his axe and he misses, and he has to get his goat to fly over and retrieve it because it doesn't come back to him anymore. But he learns
Can't miss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he learns that there is another hammer. It's the hammer of the
Ultimate
ultimate
Universe?
universe
Cool,
Thor.
okay, I like
because
that.
the ultimate universe Thor is dead and his universe is gone, but his hammer is so powerful that it survived the destruction of that universe and it's now in the regular universe. So he's on a quest to get it now.
Is it in a pool of water somewhere?
He thinks it's on Asgard.
That makes
so he's
sense.
got to make his way
That makes
there.
a lot of sense, actually.
In a way, because that's where it would go.
You should use the Rainbow Bridge.
Can't.
But even if he did, though, he'd have to search the planet.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of an epic...
Is he drawn to it? Does he know it's there?
No, he just gets a sense of it.
So that's what I mean. So he doesn't...
Oh, no, he's just like, it's probably going to be there. So he could be wrong. Who's to say?
He could be very
But he's
wrong.
running into all kinds of characters. He's running into Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, he's great.
It's all sorts of...
What's Beta Ray Bill sporting these days?
Stormbreaker, that's his. That's his hammer.
Get that one.
He can't... Well, spoiler alert, Beta Ray Bill's like, you should take this hammer.
Oh, he can't.
Well...
Spoiler alert.
Anyway,
No.
the action... writing's great, it's fun, action's great.
I'm going to check
art's
that
great.
out
You
because
should
I
check
did
it out,
enjoy. I
Yeah.
started it whenever this started, and I really liked it because he's on the moon. And he's like, "Fuck, man,
Yeah, right, yeah.
fuck."
Yeah,
And even Odin can't lift the hammer.
that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so I've been watching Voltron Legendary Defender Season 2 back
yeah.
on Netflix.
Did that come out today?
Yesterday. I bloody
Nice.
love it. I'm 10 in.
Yeah.
It's great, man.
Great.
I gotta watch Avatar.
Is it still funny?
Yeah, it
Great,
is.
okay.
It's as good as last season. I still maintain that they made most of these at the same time and split them up because it's
Yep.
been a really short turnaround for these next 13.
Yeah.
But no, I love the characters. It is by far the best incarnation of Voltron that we've ever seen.
Yep.
If you've ever watched any of the original Voltron, it's very crap. I was a big fan at the time. Or whenever I started watching it in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
But no, it's really good,
It's
man.
sometimes tough to say that. It's sometimes tough to say, and it's always, you know what? You're always right. When you say, you know what, this reboot, it's probably better.
Yeah.
It's tough because we've all got fond memories of that stuff. There's something coming
The
up.
Transformers films, the live action ones, are better than the Transformers movie from the 80s, right, Mason?
Okay, that's the exception. But there's something coming up, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be better.
Power
than-
Rangers?
No. Something coming up
Whatever
soon.
James Bond is next?
No. Something coming up, and I'm staking it being better than the original. I'm not going to get heat
Terminator?
for it. No. I'll remember it as soon as we stop
Okay,
recording.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine Mason remember what that was. And he was
A
on
funny
point.
little skit.
It was on point.
Yeah.
You all loved it. Anyway, Voltron Legendary Defender's great.
Nice.
I liked all the I like all the characterizations. I've got 4 left. I'm sure it's going to end. My problem with the last season was it was really abrupt.
Yeah.
And when this one started, I'm like, I should have watched a lot. I don't remember it. What? Who's what?
Oh, yeah,
Zarkon,
yeah.
what? So it took me a bit to
Reese
kind of catch
Darby?
up.
What
Yeah,
are you
that's
doing
right.
here?
He's really good in it. I thought originally when I started watching this, I thought it was a guy doing a Reese Darby impersonation,
Yeah.
but it's actually Reese Darby.
Yeah.
But I like the team and the dynamic, and I'm like, the Black Lion guy, he's gonna bite it at some point.
Yeah.
because he does in the original Voltron.
That's true,
and
yeah.
Keith ends up being the leader, and no, he was Blue Line, and Sven,
Sven, yeah.
But then Sven comes back. In the Western version, but it was his twin brother in the Japanese version.
Right.
It doesn't matter, it's not important. Anyway, it's great. Also, I want to watch Lemony Snicket's on Netflix.
yeah.
I've heard that's really good. So I was gonna say I've got that ready to go. It's Netflix. So
It's on Netflix. It's
there,
always
isn't
ready
it?
to go in a way.
Mason, letters.
Yes. Okay. Letters theme. It's loading. It's thinking.
Classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day.
Don't hit the microphone. It's unprofessional, Mason.
We're gonna here right now. We're gonna do letters.
Mason, I'm
Unprofessional. You did the robot dance.
That's very professional. Mason, we got to burn through this. I'm sobering up. Man.
Okay, well,
I need
no.
to lie down. No,
Wow.
I'm good. Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod if you want to get a tweet to the show.
Yeah.
But Mason's also been trawling through the mailbag.
Yep.
For the best letter.
On the best letter.
Do you want me to do
I
tweets
found
first?
a letter.
Okay, that'll do.
Here's a letter. This isn't related to anything that happened this week, but this is from David McGee.
Hey, Dave.
Big fan from the Netherlands here.
yeah.
Home of Nokia.
I know.
Probably works for Nokia. I'd
know
assume he
that.
works for Nokia. I just wanted to share a cool story
Your
with you.
company's dead, mate. Nokia's done.
That's right. I just wanted to share a cool story with you. We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, please.
Yesterday, my daughter was born. Okay, it's pretty cool.
All right.
Me and my girlfriend listen to your podcast religiously. We listen to it while we travel. We listen to it while we drive and when we go to sleep. When my fiance
Oh.
was having contractions, we listened to you guys to calm her down and give her some distraction. She said it really helped.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff. I can't.
If it's not
That's
too much
incredible.
trouble, yeah. This says something nice about the show. If it's not too much trouble, could you give a shout out to our daughter? She'll probably grow up listening to you guys. I hope not. She'll grow up weird.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Thank you
She's-
very much.
She's probably now officially the youngest listener. Agreed.
Yeah.
She's called Riley. Shout outs to Riley.
Shout outs, Riley.
Yeah.
To you.
That's right.
Congratulations on the birth of your daughter. That's awesome,
Absolutely.
man.
Best job in the world.
It totally is. That's what they say, Mason. Who can
up.
argue with that?
I will.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that could help because pregnancy, my understanding of it is that it's very unpleasant in a lot of ways.
Oh.
Yeah. Contractions.
Contractual
Podcasts.
obligations.
If you're listening to the wrong podcast
That's
while you're
right,
giving birth.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we could be there in some way. No, that's great news, man. Good on you. Quick shout out also. I also skimmed the letters, Mason. I know that was your job for this week.
Wow,
but
you stole
you
my
remember
thunder.
Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon.
Remember Brandon? Hello, Brandon.
Hello, Brandon. Hello, Brandon.
His dog, his chocolate lab, passed away at the age of 11, which sucks, man.
I
So
know.
I just wanted to say shout out to his family.
Pretty
man.
good run for a dog.
That's not bad as well, yeah. He said, could chocolate lab? Oh, sorry, I'll bring up the name here.
You are sobering up.
Yeah, Bean. I can be the official. Yeah, be the official chocolate lab of the podcast.
Absolutely.
My brother had as a chocolate lab though, so I'm gonna have to clear it with him, and then we'll get back to you. Brandon.
Okay, sure, yeah,
No,
okay.
you got it, Brandon. You got in first.
That's
No,
right.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. When a dog dies, like it's a big part of your family, like taken away from you, and that really sucks, man. So good on you, Brandon. Hello to you and your family. A listener from way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, good bloke. Okay, Grayson's got a tweet because we also do tweets, don't we, Mason?
That's right.
Hashtag Weekly Planet
Planet
Pod.
Pod.
Shoot us a tweet. This one's from Grayson. Hey, do you guys... He didn't write, that was
Good
me.
start.
Do you guys think Disney will ever try a reboot of the Star Wars original, a trilogy?
No.
You don't think in like 80 years?
Oh, then yes.
Yeah.
Not in our lifetimes. I think that I maintain...
But we'll be dead in a year. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah. But no, so go on.
I was going to
Go on.
say I very much hope, and they probably won't.
And you hope. Go on.
Oh,
Yeah.
I very much
Strike
hope,
back.
New hope, that they will reboot the prequels as maybe one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they could re-edit the prequels. Who did that? What's his name? Venom did it from Spider-Man 3. Topher Grace edited the prequel trilogy into one movie as an art
Wow.
project.
What a man of many
And
talents.
agreed. He was in a bad
Venom.
Spider-Man movie.
That 70s show.
He did a romantic comedy with Dennis Quaid.
He makes a cameo appearance in Ocean's 11. The remake, not the original.
Yes, he did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. But then again, I would love in 100 years. I don't care if I'm honest. But if this is like Star Wars just continues, you know what I mean? It's just like whatever. Like so, it's real time kind of like.
Oh, okay, sure.
Luke Skywalker died however long ago, and it's just a new cast of characters and whatever.
Okay.
I think that would be cool. But they'll probably reboot it realistically because everything gets a second chance, mate.
That's true.
Disney are doing a Genie prequel movie, so why not?
Shazam, it's going to be
Yes,
called.
That's right. Finally, the remake
Shazam
of that.
Zero, the prequel to that movie we all love.
This is from Sam. Thank you, Grayson. Appreciate it. This is from, Sam, if you were these are two Star Wars questions. This was I didn't mean that.
Oh, it's
Mason.
bloody
I
Star Wars
apologise.
week.
If you were a Jedi Padawan, which Jedi would you want as your master? Would you want someone competent, or do you want someone you could pull stuff over like Qui-Gon? Where you
Oh,
can
that's a
just
good question.
You can go and murder people, and that's fine. He won't
that's a good
realize.
question.
I mean, he was dead pretty quick, but actually Obi-Wan let a lot slip, didn't he?
Yeah. Who are our options? We've got Conehead Guy,
Yep.
Yoda.
Who kind of does it. He does some kind of bulk teaching, doesn't
Yeah.
he? He teaches everybody at some point.
The hot blue lady with tentacles on her head.
Yep.
I'll probably take her.
Why?
She seems wise
You
in her
just
ways.
think that she'd
Be a great Jedi, yeah.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
great teacher.
I'm gonna take Kit Fisto.
Ah, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Classic Fisto lover.
He'd take you to his underwater place and he'd be like, "Have you seen underwater?"
It's true.
And I'd
You'd be like,
"No,
no,
I've
sir,
seen-"
Kit Fisto.
Maybe you want a Luke Skywalker post Return of the Jedi,
Oh, yeah.
but you don't want to be the son of or the grandson of Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be like, an unrelated. Like he'd be a pretty good master, wouldn't he? I mean, we don't know. We don't know this version.
That's true,
of Luke
yeah.
Skywalker, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. Maybe that droid that was a Jedi in that
Great.
one
Yeah.
comic.
Yeah.
R5D4, the droid Jedi.
Yeah.
Great. That's the show,
Lesson
Mason.
1, blow your gasket.
That's it. That's what you do with
Gaskets.
your bloody master, wouldn't you, mate?
All right, steady on.
Come on, he's up.
Jeez. We've all had a drink, all right? Jeez.
What's up? What's next?
Oh, that's the show, right?
That's it.
That is the show. Oh, if you want to contact the show, you can go Weekly Planet Pod on Twitter and Facebook and Gmail and Bandcamp. We've got all our audio commentaries there. You can follow the Weekly Planet on Twitter. That's our friend Robert Collins.
Do you want some audio commentaries? We might do some.
Yeah,
Maybe
nice.
people have said with Logan coming up, do we want to do
The Wolverine
and
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
We could maybe do both.
I haven't seen that in a long time, but we can do
Yeah.
X-Men Origins
maybe
Wolverine.
I think that would be funnier.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with that one.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know when, but at some point,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
What else?
Amazon link.
And we've got an Amazon affiliate link in the podcast description. Click on that if you want to buy X-Men Origins Wolverine on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K or whatever it's on now.
Yeah, man.
But buy the 4K restaurant, buy the Criterion edition
Oh, please.
of
yeah.
X-Men Origins Wolverine, and we get a kickback somehow when you click through that link. I don't know how.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't benefit you in any way, but it does us.
That's
So
right.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our themes.
Yeah, man.
Thank everybody who bloody subscribes and
Yeah,
tweets
man.
at us and sends us some artwork.
Some memes, some DC memes.
I love a meme so much.
We do love a meme.
Thank you to all our guys who make the t-shirts. Are on tpublic.com.
Yes.
Search for the Weekly Planet. That's on there.
Yes.
What else? That's about it.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, nice.
Next week, what's next? Oh, Resident Evil. Oh, God.
Next week we're seeing a Resident Evil, the final chapter.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be better or worse than Triple X? I'm going to say it's going to be worse.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be more boring.
It'll be boring
more
and
generic.
worse. Yeah, boring and worse.
Yeah, it'll be like an Underworld or a Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, which are boring and bad. Both Resident Evil and Underworld are worse than each other. Have you noticed?
That's true. That's exactly right, Mason.
Yeah.
You've said the right thing.
I have said the right thing.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Grab that gem, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Maybe it'll be a Tuesday next week or a Monday. I don't know. The show might change today at some point.
James, we've said the things we say at the end of the podcast. Why are you still
sorry.
talking?
So you wrap it up again.
No, you have to wrap it up with you have to wrap it up with a catchphrase now.
Okay. Everybody dance now.
No, no, you haven't. You were ejected from CNC Music Factory. You cannot use that anymore for copyright reasons. All right.
Fine. Everybody move now.
All right, it's allowable. It's allowable as a song parody. It's all right. Grab that gem, you guys. See you next week. Bye.